Pick it up, my selector.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
I know you're gonna dig this.
The Maestro.
We are about to go in. We are live, everyone. It is Maestro. It is Friday, and I want to thank everyone for being live in the house with me today. I want to go in on this topic real quick, and then I'm going to open up the lines so that anyone who wants to talk about any of these things can get into the picture and talk about these things with me. So, look, man, I didn't think that the word guarantee was really going to be some kind of a controversy. Guarantee. I mean, if I say I'm going to guarantee you something, that means that I am going to do what I said, and I have something to back up that I am going to do what I said. It's a guarantee, right? I didn't guarantee that I was going to start at 11:30 a.m. Eastern today. You know, I started that as the start time. Some shit happened over here, unfortunately, and I started a few minutes late. But notice I didn't guarantee that I was going to get started at 11:30. I said I'd get started. Usually I'm very punctual, by the way. I'm usually a very punctual guy, but I had a mini kind of thing going on. I'm managing a construction project while I'm on vacay from the school and the school year. And, you know, I had to rush over there, got to rush back. You know, I had to get my fluids ready for today. I don't usually drink Monster. I'm not giving them a plug. I prefer Red Bull, but it was on special at the grocery store, so I picked that up. You know, I may ask my wife to bring me a beer after the noon mark because I kind of needed one last night. You know, I could have used a couple brewskis yesterday, right? Because guys were coming at me hard. I mean, for basically saying that Canelo should have a guarantee and that he wasn't being guaranteed $40 million. You know, I keep hearing, oh, Canelo's a bitch. Who turns down a $40 million guarantee? Canelo's ducky. Canelo's a bitch. What? Really? Well, come on, man. Let's look at the facts in a moment. Oh, but you don't know nothing about boxing, nigga. Like, you don't know anything about boxing. You're a casual. I'm a casual? Really, I'm a casual. So casuals go on the YouTube shows and just talk boxing. I guess we got a definition of casual that's a little bit different from the, you know, definition that I know, right? Because the same motherfuckers that call me a casual, they wouldn't be able to tell you much about things that I know about in the sport of boxing. They wouldn't be able to tell you what weight class Donny Nietes fights in, how many titles Donny Nietes has won, how many weight divisions Donny Nietes has won titles in, who Donny Nietes won his first title against. Matter of fact, these motherfuckers probably don't even know who Donny Nietes is. And they're calling me a casual. Okay, you believe that, buddy. You believe that. But you know what? We're going to go in real quick. First off, I just want to salute everybody that tuned in early. We got Dave Martinez. That's one of my family names, believe it or not. We got Carlos in the house. We got Marian G, right? Ramiro Flores is with us. Jesus M is with us. Carlos, my grandfather's name. That's a great name. Shout out to Carlos Teodoro, my grandfather, R.I.P. Steve Munoz, without the Enye. What up, bro? Ramiro Flores. I said you before. I'll say it again. You doubling up on the chats. Nando, my brother from 8CP. He in the house. D Hodges, Apex Predator, he with us. Kevin's with us. The best that ever. Great call. All right. Great call, brother. All right. You speak your mind, I speak your mind. It's all good. We all boxing fans. We all have the same love and passion for the sport. What Rapid is in the house, and Edwin Solano is with us, as well as is my brother from Wales, Mr. Hamed. Mr. Hamed. So look, we about to get in on this. You know, I like to do stuff in real time. So we about to hit this in real time real quick. And I am going to hit up the trusty resource known as Google. Google. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go in and we're going to check Google. Right? I like Google. You like Google. My brother Kenny T, he definitely likes Google. He in the house. He's an Android guy like me. Right? So we're going to check out Mr. Google. And we're going to look up the word guarantee. You know, I'm getting a call, but we ain't ready for calls yet, guys. Sorry about that. I'm going to open up the lines in a moment, but we ain't ready for calls just yet. So we're taking these suckers to kindergarten today. Word of the day, guarantee. I'm going to look that up right now. Guarantee. Boom. Noun, a formal promise or assurance, typically in writing, that certain conditions will be fulfilled, especially that a product will be repaired or replaced. If not a specified quality and durability. Let me repeat that back because I fumbled a little bit right there. Guarantee. Again, we're going back to kindergarten today for some people, right? Word of the day is guarantee. A formal promise or assurance, typically in writing, that certain conditions will be fulfilled, especially that a product will be repaired or replaced, if not of a specified quality and durability. So Canelo won a guarantee, guys. He won a guarantee. And he want his money guaranteed. That's what Canelo wants. Oh, my Astro, Canelo's a bitch. He turned down 40 million guaranteed. No, he didn't. And no, he's not. Oh, well, you don't know anything about boxing, Maestro. You don't know shit about boxing. You a casual. No, I'm not a casual. But I'm going to casually attack these motherfuckers that don't seem to know what the word guarantee means. And we're about to do that right now. So look, guys, all kidding aside, you know, we all family, all right? We all brothers and sisters in this boxing thing. So there's nothing but love over here. We're just sharing some knowledge, sharing some opinions. You know, nothing's personal, okay? Nothing's personal. But look, there's a reason why football players in the NFL, and for those of you in the UK, I know, it's not real football, but here in the United States, it's called football. We'll just refer to it as NFL football. So here in NFL football in the United States, they don't have guaranteed contracts. What do I mean by that? Well, if XYZ football player breaks his ankle, tears his ACL, fucks up his back, you know, his money ain't guaranteed. They can cut up the contract, get rid of his ass, and he's ass out. Not like that in baseball. Not like that in the NBA. So What does guarantee mean in the NBA and in sports in general? It means that if LeBron James signs a contract, unless he retires, he's getting his money, right? If the Lakers show up to play the Clippers and Kawhi Leonard is out with an injury, LeBron gets his money. If the Lakers show up to play the New York Knicks and AD is injured, LeBron gets his money. If LeBron, goes to the supermarket and slips and falls and breaks his back, remember Mike Tyson, the breaking the back? If he injures himself, again, had nothing to do with basketball, doesn't even need to be on a practice court or on a game NBA court. If he falls at the supermarket and can't play, his money is guaranteed. So that's what guarantee means. That's it right there, John D. I got spinal. Right? We all remember that. Kenny T, we cooling over here too, although I'm going to have to put the AC on in a minute because it's getting hot over here in New York City, as I'm sure you know, because you're just probably about a half mile away from where I am in the Heights. That's guaranteed. So look, if Canelo, again, and I'm going to just run it back for all of you guys that for whatever reason are confused. This is a freestyle. I don't have any prepared notes. I know what I'm talking about. All right. There's no PowerPoint today. I'm just telling you what I know. You know, I'll refer to Google or whatever every time I need to like back up my words or whatnot, but guarantee is a guarantee. So look, here's what's happened with Canelo. And it's unfortunate, honestly, that more boxers don't have this because all of the people that are on boxing YouTube, I'm on boxing YouTube. You know, I'm now a content creator. I used to support other people's content and, you know, they started to have problems with me. So now I'm doing my own content, right? I spent years, you know, watching other shows and contributing in different ways, but now I'm doing my content. So I'm on YouTube, right? And we're just going to explain it like this. You say you like boxing. You say you like fighters. You say you want the best interest of the fighter. Boxing is a brutal, violent sport. It's a combat sport. People get injured badly at times, sometimes even worse, as we know. It's unfortunate, but it's true. Why do you want something for a fighter that is less than what an NBA player or Major League Baseball player gets? Because they get guarantees. You say you like fighters. You say you like boxing. Well, why is it that you don't want a boxer to have a guarantee? Because guess what? I love LeBron James. I'm a huge LeBron James fan. I think he's hated on, you know, much in the way that Canelo's hated on, unfortunately, for no good reason. Great basketball players, done a tremendous amount for the sport, you know, gives back to his community, upstanding dude, you know, family man, right? But LeBron James get a lot of hate. A lot of hate. But guess what? LeBron James, if he gets injured, he keeps his money. LeBron James, if his opponent's injured, he keeps his money. LeBron James, if there's a COVID-19 pandemic and the whole season's canceled, he keeps his money. And as much as I love LeBron James and what he does, LeBron James ain't taking headshots in training. He's not having people, attempt to break his ribs in sparring. LeBron James ain't doing 8-week, 10-week, 12-week training camps in boxing. But his money's guaranteed. And you know what? His money should be guaranteed. He's making people billions of dollars. They can afford to guarantee his fucking money. And you know what? All these people work with insurance companies anyways. So if LeBron James can have a guarantee, if Giannis can have a guarantee, if Shohei Ohtani can have a guarantee, why are you, as a boxing person who claims to like boxers, claims to love the sport of boxing, not wanting fighters to have guarantees? Not even the biggest fighter in the sport of boxing. If he can't get a guarantee, who the fuck is getting a guarantee? Well, I'm seeing the LeBron hate coming in here. We got the LeBron boo birds joining Maestro A boxing. That's fine. I can use it. Throw me another basketball player. I'll use him as an example. Throw me some names. We got LaFlop. We got LaChoke. Right? We've got, La China. Right? Okay. All right. We clearly don't like LeBron much in the chat. That's cool. I got it. But at the end of the day, LeBron's a great basketball player. And LeBron, despite the theatrics, sometimes, I know he gets theatrical at times. Maybe he was preparing for Space Jam, doing some acting prep on the basketball court. I admit it. He can be a little dramatic at times, a little theatrical. Right, but we cannot deny that the brother's a great basketball player. That's obviously the case. All right, we can use another player, right? Let's use Kawhi Leonard. All right, Kawhi Leonard, when he was with the Toronto Raptors, and even before that, when he was at San Antonio, would not do two games in a row. He'd play a game, then he'd take off a game, then he'd play a game, then he'd take off a game, then he'd play a game. Then he'd take off a game. Then he'd play another game. Then he'd take off a game. And his money was guaranteed. When he was sitting on the bench, he was getting paid. It was guaranteed. Guaranteed money. So wait a second. We're okay with NBA, or maybe you're not okay with any NBA players and Major League Baseball players and Bundesliga players and La Liga players and Premiership players. Maybe you're not okay with those guys getting guaranteed money. But I think they should get guaranteed money because they play a sport where there's an inherent risk. And if they get injured, if they don't get paid, that's their livelihood. And they work super hard to get to where they are. Guess what? I'm a school teacher. My money's guaranteed, right? If I call out sick, I can't go to work. There's a snow day. My money's every other Friday is still hitting my bank account. Every other Friday. Boom, 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 boom. Friday, I'm getting paid. Right? My brother Nopal, he works not Nopal, sorry. My brother G Funky works for school district. He got guaranteed money. So if you've decided to be a teacher, or if you decided to be a driver, or if you decided to be a school tech person, you decided to be the cafeteria worker, whatever that works around my school, you have guaranteed money. But Canelo can't have guaranteed money? So let's just break this down again, because the word of the day, again, we're going to kindergarten today, guys. Guarantee. Guarantee is a legal term more comprehensive and of higher importance than either warranty or security. It most commonly designates a private transaction by means of which one person, to obtain some trust or confidence or credit for another, engages to be answerable for him. So the PBC should be answerable to Caleb Plant, or for Caleb Plant to Canelo. So check it out. Because I'm going to just break it down again. We go into kindergarten today because for whatever reason, like this word guarantee seems to be causing some confusion. Look, if the PBC offers Canelo $40 million to fight Plant, but they'll only pay him if the fight happens, that's not a guarantee. That's not a guarantee. That's not guaranteed money. Because if he shows up after many weeks of training, after many weeks of hard sparring, after many weeks of road work, after many weeks of sacrificing his time and being away from his kids and his partner, and shows up to Las Vegas, and Caleb Plant has a hand injury or catches COVID, and the fight is off, and he doesn't get paid, how the fuck is that a guarantee? Well, you in a different business right now, Kenny. I understand that. I feel for you on that one. All right? That's not a guarantee. If he gets paid only if his opponent is able to perform, that is not a guarantee. You know what is a guarantee? I'm going to take on the role of Eddie Hearn right now. Hey, Canelo, I got a real big fight for you. You know, we got Billy Joe Saunders, right? You got the WBC title. You got the WBA title. Billy Joe's got the WBO. We're going to have a 3-belt unification fight. Week of the fight. Oh, shit, Canelo, man. Yo, Billy Joe, you won't believe what the fuck he's saying. He's saying if you don't fight him in a 24 by 24 foot ring, he's not going to fight. I'm sorry, man. But you know what? I got you because we gave you a guarantee. If this dude doesn't show up to fight, we're going to bring in John Ryder. He's going to fight. And you're going to get paid. That's a guarantee, ladies and gentlemen. You know what's not a guarantee? Canelo, so here's the situation. Caleb Sweet Hands Plant, you're not going to believe this, Canelo, but, and I know we told you that we'd have $40 million for you, but he messed up his hands in sparring. We're not going to be able to have a pay-per-view, you know, because there's no other opponent we could put on pay-per-view for you. So, you know, Canelo, I'm so sorry, but you know that $40 million we guaranteed? Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to cancel the fight and you're not going to get paid. Chat, please explain to me how that's a guarantee. Please explain to me how that's a guarantee, because that's not a guarantee. And Canelo is not even asking for what I think he should have. All right? He's not even asking for what LeBron has. He's not asking for what, you know, a lot of the NFL players are trying to get right now. He's only asking for, dude, if I get injured, that's on me. If I get COVID, that's on me. If my rib is busted, that's on me. If I get cut in sparring, that's on me. You don't have to pay me anything. But if that dude can't perform for whatever reason that's out of my control, bro, you got to go find somebody else and bring him to the ring, and I'll knock his ass out, but I need to be getting my money. That is a guarantee. And guys, that is what the PBC were not able to do for Canelo. So why would he leave guarantees with the Zone and with Eddie Hearn to go over to Fox Sports and the PBC and not get guarantees?
Oh, well, Maestro, you don't know shit about boxing. You're just a casual.
What exactly do I not know here? Because Canelo's been fighting multiple times a year. The pace he's on would have been 25 milli in September for a guy like Bivol, another 25 milli in December for the next man up. 25 plus 25 is 50. Guaranteed. So you're asking him to leave that on the table to go over to Fox and...
Well, I got some bad news for you, Canelo. You know that 40 million we promised? Unfortunately, Caleb Plant, he got COVID, and there's no more 40 million.
And Canelo's like, nah, fuck you. That ain't happening, motherfucker. You know Canelo likes to speak like that right now, right? You know Canelo likes to speak like that right now, right?
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Well, that's probably what he'd be saying to that. So, again, I don't know what people are not understanding about Canelo. I don't know what people are not understanding about PBC and their quote-unquote guarantee. Because if you show up to fight and you're in shape and you are ready to go, and the other dude can't fight because he caught COVID, got injured, got cut, whatever, that's not a guarantee, ladies and gentlemen. And again, right? Again, if you claim to love boxing, if you claim to care about the fighters, why would you want the biggest star in the sport of boxing not to be treated not even all the way like a end of the bench player in Major League Baseball or the NFL? Oh, sorry, not the NFL. They're treated like not really good. The NBA, the Major League Baseball, the Bundesliga, La Liga, the J League in Japan, the English Premiership, the Portuguese League, the Italian League. Why are you okay with fighters being promised shit, right? Belittled in the media?
Oh, but Canelo's a bitch. Canelo's ducking from playing.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Canelo is a businessman trying to make a business deal that benefits him. Yeah, he wants a guarantee.
Well, Maestro, 40 million, that's just ridiculous.
Well, have you never negotiated before? When I buy my motorcycles, I don't offer what the guy's asking for. I recently bought a new home. I didn't offer what was being asked for. You negotiate. What is so difficult to understand?
Oh, well, we gave him 40. We gave him the right to keep the Hennessy deal. We gave him back.
You didn't give him shit. You didn't give him or offer him shit. Because all of that was off the table if the A side, according to some people, in Caleb Plant, and I got nothing against Caleb Plant. He's a fighter. He puts his life on the line for our entertainment. He has the right to demand whatever he wants to as well. But you didn't give him anything if what you're saying is if you get sick, if you get COVID, if you get cut, if you break your ribs, if you break your sweet hands, the fight is off. Guys, that's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee. So look, you know, somebody was trying to call in earlier. I wasn't ready to take phones at that time. I just wanted to lay that out there for everybody. You know, you can call in about this. You can call in about something else if you want, a different topic altogether. That's fine. But what I really want to ask everybody here in the chat is, why does Canelo get this kind of hate? Because personally, I just do not get it. I really don't. I don't get it. So look, I'm going to share the link in case G Funky, Kenny, or A-Rod want to jump on in. All right. I'm going to share the link over here. I'm going to open up the phone lines. And if y'all want to join in on video, you can. But if you join in on video, it's not just going to be like open session to speak over people and interrupt, you know, and ask a question. And then the person tries to start answering the question and then they can't get their answer off. Like if G Funky, you got the plug. Kenny, you got the plug. A-Rod, you got the plug. Everybody else, you have the plug. But if you're coming on video, I'm going to just give you like 2 questions to knock off if you want to get some questions in. And I am also going to open up the phone lines here for everybody. And we're going to get started with that. So look, the other thing I want to ask you to do, if you have not yet, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash that like button. All right. And, you know, share the video. I'm trying to get to 1,000, right? I'm trying to start monetizing here. You know, I put in a lot of work here on the equipment, on the setup. I'm actually building a new studio right now at my new spot, you know, and, you know, I want to be able to start monetizing because, you know what? I enjoy doing this and I'm going to keep doing it, but it would be nice to, you know, get some get back for the investments I've been putting in, right? So the line, if you want to call in, I got A-Rod calling in already. He's the first to go. A-Rod, you're live. Can you hear me? Actually, 1 second, bro. Something, I should have tested my line from the beginning. Let me just make sure I got you dialed in the right way. I got to put you on Bluetooth. A-Rod, I did this to you yesterday. I'm sorry to have to do it to you again. Actually, just give me a second. I think I got it. Oh no, A-Rod, my fault, bro. Just do me a favor and call right back. I'm gonna answer it on a different line. I answered on the wrong line. Call right back, please, bro. Appreciate that. All right, so I'm getting my shit set up. Like I said, it was a little delayed on my way in here, but we're gonna get it going here. As soon as A-Rod calls back, I'm gonna make sure I get him on, and we're gonna get going. Or if A-Rod, you prefer, I can actually call you back. And again, if anybody wants to join in, all right, I'm going to drop the link for all of you down over there on the yard. All right, StreamYards, you can join in that way. And let me actually just try to get A-Rod in over here. I'm going to dial him in and see if I could get him that way.
Oh,
we got A-Rod on the line. A-Rod, what's good, bro? Sorry for that delay.
well, it's all good, man. Yeah, I don't get how all these fans just want to be hating on somebody that just wants to get a guarantee. You know what I mean? Somebody that's already got burned. for 1 whole year without a fight. You know what I mean? Somebody that was promised a guaranteed 2 fights a year. You know what I mean? That got screwed out of it, had to get himself out of the contract. Why wouldn't you go ahead and have to have another guarantee? You know what I mean? If you already got screwed over, you're not going to get screwed over again, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, A-Rod. Explain to everybody that's listening what you mean when you say that Canelo's already been screwed over.
Canelo went to court with the Zone and De La Hoya because they were guaranteeing him 2 fights a year at what, like 35 million a fight?
Yeah.
And they weren't giving them that because of the COVID, that they couldn't afford it to pay, blah, blah. They wanted to actually ignore it, and they wanted to fight YouTubers or fucking UFC fighters. They said, challenge, I'm not fighting those, I want to fight real fighters, right?
Yeah.
So he got put off. The Triple G third fight got canceled. That was ready to go before the pandemic, and it got canceled. Then he was waiting for another fight. They wouldn't give him the Billy Joe Saunders fight and all that. So he went to court, got himself out of the fucking whole deal because they were trying to screw him over. So now he's looking for whoever's going to actually give him a guarantee. He's trying to fight 3 times, 4 times a year. Why not? If the Zone is actually going to give him 4 fights a year and a guaranteed $25 million, he's going to make more money than what you're going to offer him in another network. You know what I mean, like BBC and Fox.
Yeah.
So if you want him to step out of the Zone, where they already are guaranteeing him a fight in September, but he better guarantee him a pay. You know what I mean? Because right now, like you said, we're in a union. I'm Teamsters. I'm a truck driver, and I get guaranteed 40 hours.
Yeah.
I got offered another job where right now they're paying more than what I'm getting, but I work more days, so like it's not worth it. You know what I mean? You're only offering me a little bit more, and I'm gonna be working double the hours that I'm working now, so it's not worth it. I looked at all the benefits that I'm getting now compared to what they're offering, and $10,000 a year more is not worth it to what I'm getting right now.
No,
in the long run.
You're right. And you know what I equate that to? I equate it to being a teacher in a unionized school versus being a teacher in a private school or in a charter school, right? So, you know, you go into a public school system, you got to be certified, you got to be educated, right? And then you're in a union and your pay is guaranteed, your job is guaranteed, right? If they want to get rid of you, they got to go through all kinds of different channels to do it the right way, right? It's not that you can't get fired if you're a unionized public school teacher, but it is a lot more difficult to get rid of you, right? What happens in the charter schools is they lure a lot of people over there because they don't have the same requirements, but then, you know, maybe the new principal doesn't like Kenny's mustache or doesn't like the fact that Maestro grew out a beard when he showed up for the job interview. He was clean cut, but 6 months later, you know, he's looking like I'm looking right now. And they're like, you know what? We don't really like you no more, Maestro. You out. They may have started off by giving me more money, but at the end of the day, when it comes to my money, I'm much more conservative. I want guarantees. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why I tell people when I recommend them looking for a job. Right now, I got pension. Pension's not offered everywhere. I get medical, dental, vision, all that crap, right? And if a job offers me $60 an hour right now, but without any of that, it's not worth it.
There you go.
Definitely not.
Even though it's $60 an hour, but imagine how much medical you're going to be paying out of pocket. How much dental, vision for your kids and everything. It's not worth it at all. That makes sense. You know, $60 an hour, but without any medical or anything. Hell no, you're making the wrong choice.
100%. I mean, DAZN and Eddie Hearn are offering Canelo the guaranteed public school teacher money. And, you know, the PBC and Fox are coming in with that lure of the higher pay to work in the charter school, but without the guarantee that you're going to keep your job or even get that money at the end of the year.
and you
Kenny,
know
you
the
got something to say? You're on mute, bro.
pardon.
I don't know if you watched that Benavides with Mike Tyson, the podcast.
I
He was
have it.
talking
I
about-
have it on my agenda to watch. Yes.
He was talking about that there's people that actually brought fighters from Mexico to fight, and they were called immigration after just so they won't have to pay them.
Wow.
Can you guys hear me now?
It happens like that to where Canelo's looking out for his own like that to where if he's not going to get screwed over out of his money. That's the way you got to see it.
I agree. Kenny, you want to chime in, bro?
Yeah, are you guys able to hear me now?
You're on mute, fam.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not on mute.
My fault. I can hear you now. That was my fault. I had you muted on my mixer, bro. That's my fault. Go ahead.
No worries. All good. I was gonna say definitely depends what stage of your career you're in. You know what I'm saying? When you're an established GOAT that has 10 plus years in your career, you know what I'm saying? You need the guaranteed money with the good medical, with the not the entry level pay, but the high level pay. You know what I'm saying? That's why Canelo deserves a guarantee. We're not talking about Sweet Cheeks Plant, who's the not necessarily recognized guy, the not necessarily established guy. He's the young guy. When you're the young guy, you take the big paying job without the guarantee, without the medical, without all that stuff, because you have less risk of getting hurt and need the big dollars right out of college, right out of high school, right out of wherever it is that you're coming from. You need the big dollars right away to sustain and pay your bills. But when you're already an established GOAT, you've been in the field for 10 plus years, you need that guaranteed money. No games, you can't shit on your own personal life. You have to take yourself seriously, your career seriously, your health seriously, and everything you've worked so hard for the last 10 years seriously.
100%. A-Rod, you want to add anything else?
Yeah, Canelo's fucking been in the game. He's had the most fights. You know what I mean? He's already fucking 60-something fights. You know what I mean? He's already had more fights than anybody in the game. Well, right now, except for Manny Pacquiao. You know what I mean? So even talking from a seniority type of thing, you know what I mean? If you put so many years in, you're not going to bust your ass the same way that the lower guys did. You know what I mean? I get the same pay. You're not. You're going to want your higher pay. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And people are talking about that. Oh, well, we never heard of the type of shit that Canelo's asking for that guarantee.
Great.
But when did you ever?
Great. I'm glad. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You just got me excited with what you just said. Go ahead, A-Rod.
When did we ever hear that a fighter got paid $1.5 million to change his glove? It happened.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So Canelo's not the only one that's being the diva, and all the Floyd Mayweather fans, and I'm one too, would argue, well, Floyd Mayweather could do it because he earned the spot. You know what I'm saying? Canelo can't. So you're always just have that argument. That's bullshit. I mean, there's always going to be stipulations that somebody else brings in that is new, that we never heard of, but it's going to happen. But thanks for letting me on. I'm on the road. I'll let you guys keep going. I'll keep on listening and chiming in on the chat, brothers.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And what I want to add to that before I bring Hamed in here real quick, who wants to join us. Look, there was a time when Major League Baseball players, they didn't have guaranteed contracts. It took a trailblazer, a pioneer to do that, right? Same in basketball. There was a time when if you got injured or you know the team didn't want you anymore, they just got rid of you. So even if people say, "Well, Maestro, this is crazy. Like no boxer has ever received this before." Well, okay, so great. It's time that that boxers start receiving this. Kenny,
people always, excuse me. People always stand up for these big billionaire corporations that take all the money from the individual, when in fact these big money corporations aren't shit without the boxers. Boxing is nothing without boxers. Who cares about PBC? Who cares about Top Rank? Who cares about Matchroom? Who cares about the bodies that sanction these belts? Who cares about any of them? At the end of the day, we care about the boxer. You know, he's the man with entertainment. He's the man with the skill. He's the man that can fight. He's the man that's risking his life out there. Not the man standing behind him with the money and with the TV contract saying, "Well, I'm gonna put you on TV and you're gonna make lots of money on TV." No, fuck all that shit. Let's be real, guys. Let's be serious. Let's think about what we're saying and the way that we're acting. And by the way, you asked earlier, why is it that Canelo and LeBron get so much hate? Well, bro, you got to understand, they're the goats of their sports. Of course, they're going to get all the hate. Good publicity, bad publicity is all publicity that works for them and gets them more traction, more popularity. It's like when Mayweather was on top. See, now you hear people bigging up Mayweather. Oh, he's the greatest. He's the greatest to ever boxed ever, right? But what you don't hear is all the hate that Mayweather used to receive from people watching his fight to hoping that he got knocked out, hoping that he got beat up. It's Canelo's turn now. People hoping he gets knocked out. People hoping he gets beat up. It's what's going to happen with the greats in the sport. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. Let me bring on Hamed over here. Hamed, you're live with Kenny T and Maestro.
Yes, how's it going? How's it going, man?
Good. How's it going, bro?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. You were talking about is it the Caleb Plant fight and what happened, whatever.
Yeah, we're talking
All
about
right, right.
but Canelo's getting all kind of hate because he wanted a guarantee that if Caleb Plant gets injured, that he's still going to have a fight to make money.
Yeah, I think I just listened to Steve Kim and Mario Lopez's podcast. Mario Lopez was going in on Caleb Plant, like he was blaming him. But I agree with what Steve Kim was saying. I think his more blame needs to be sided with Caleb Plant's team. Because I heard Ring IQ saying someone told him that they were trying to lock down the plan to a 3-fight deal or a 2-fight deal. And without guarantee money, you can't do that. So I do think Canelo deserves some criticism because some of those things in the contract he put. But then again, you could go back in time and all these guys, Mayweather, all the way going back to Ray Robinson. Once these guys get to that level, they all do all do the same thing or similar thing, where they're pulling strings. But regarding the fight, I'm not sure for the zone they probably better off if they can make the Golovkin trilogy. Would you rather see that fight? Because I think that's probably still one of the biggest fights for Canelo available. And if it's not pay-per-view.
I'm in the minority, Hamed, but personally, I'd rather see Bivol or Baturiev than Triple G. Like I've seen Canelo Triple G twice already. I don't really need to see it again personally. I understand that it would probably do pretty well, and I understand obviously I would watch the fight for sure. I will watch the fight, but I'm more intrigued by the prospects of seeing someone I have not seen Canelo beat already, especially if he's going up again to 175 to do it.
Well, I'd like to see. The only reason I'd like to potentially see the Triple G fight again, although like you said, I'd rather see him fight Beterbiev. But the only reason I'd rather see it, I would like to see, not rather, would like to see the Triple G fight one more time is because I'd like Canelo to just knock him out and put him out of his misery. You know, we got too much Triple G fans out here that swear he's the greatest of all time for his division and all this other stuff. When if you look at Triple G's resume, it's not really that all accomplished. He's been yes, he's knocked a lot of people out. Yes, he's looked great in his fight. He's a boxer. He's a professional boxer. Respect all that goes out to him. But a lot of his fights have been cherry picked and have been minor opposition.
Yeah, he's been carefully selecting his his fights and matchmaking at the moment. But I was just thinking from a business aspect. I don't think the Benavides fight is happening because he hasn't got a belt. We already seen how PBC are dealing. So I think out of Bivol, Golovkin, and Beterbiev, I don't think the Beterbiev fight is happening next. I think Canelo will want to fight someone like Bivol maybe before he fights Beterbiev, or maybe even Gilberto Ramirez. I think that fight may be happening somewhere down the line next year. But right now, I think out of Bivol and Golovkin, I would rather see someone else, but I think maybe this is maybe one of the last times you could see it because Golovkin will be 40 in April, and at that time, I don't think then there'll be much of a case. Especially if he looks not good against or bad against Morata. From a business point of view, if you put that on the zone and you guarantee money, that generates a lot of money. And the thing I don't like and get is they gave Golovkin like what was it, a big contract which is close to 100 million or something like that, whatever, or was it 90 something million? At least he'll get some of that investment back. And there's still, like Kenny said, there's still some clamor for this fight because I still see a lot of these Golovkin fanboys and whatever Canelo, fans as well going back and forth, and Canelo fanatics, fanboys, whatever, however you want to put it. So there's still some dispute over those two fights. Definitely the first fight, I think, was very controversial. You could arguably say it was a robbery. But even the rematch, I've seen a lot of dispute. So I know he's past his prime, but at least it'll close the chapter if that fight happens. Or if Golovkin wins, then that'll be maybe even a big deal for DAZN because that, I mean, then they may want to maybe potentially sell a fourth fight. But I don't think Canelo would be the favorite, and if they make that third fight, that could maybe generate more money for DAZN than a fight with if Caleb Plant came over to DAZN or Bivol or anyone else. But right now, I get it. Like a lot of people want to see a different fight, but I don't mind if he fights either Bivol or Caleb Plant. But next year, hopefully, he fights the winner or whoever got the IBF belt, because I think before he moves up to light heavyweight, I would like to see an undisputed champion at super middleweight, because that's something we didn't get to see at middleweight, I believe, and even at junior middleweight because of the draw with Castano and Charlo. But do you guys think Bivol will move down, or do you think that fight happens at light heavyweight?
I mean, it will happen wherever Canelo wants it to happen. If Canelo wants it to happen at 168, it'll happen at 168. If Canelo wants to get another title at 175, it'll happen at 175. Kenny?
I'm gonna say my opinion is that Canelo will make him go down to 165 because you know everybody's taking the page out of Mayweather's book, and Mayweather used to love catchweights. Mayweather never went to people's weight divisions and fought them at their, or very few times did go to people's weight divisions and fought them at their weight divisions. So I see Canelo making it a little uncomfortable for Bivol and telling Bivol, you got to come down here, Papa. You know what I'm saying? I don't really see, I think it'll be fucking great and different than Mayweather if he did go to 175 and beat him up at 175. By the way, I saw somebody in the comments stating that Triple G beat Canelo in the first fight. That definitely did not happen. I don't know what fight you was watching. Please watch the replay of the fight. Definitely not a Canelo fanboy, as people like to say. I'm a fan of boxing. I'm a fan of all boxers, and I'm a truth teller. Trash
How
talk
did he
extraordinaire.
How did he score the first fight then?
That was a long time ago. I don't necessarily have a scorecard
No,
that.
but who do you think won? Did you think someone won, or do you think it was a draw?
Oh, I definitely think Canelo won. It was definitely. I do not think it was a draw. I think Canelo won. I'm not gonna say he extremely outclassed or put the beats on Triple G. The first fight was much closer than the second fight, but I don't think Triple G won, and I don't think it was a draw.
Yep.
I thought Golovkin won, but I wasn't mad at the draw. I think there was one very bad scorecard because it did predict a draw. But I thought Golovkin won maybe about 7-5. Maybe you could argue 8-4, but I think if you were being generous, in my opinion, I think you could find a draw. But I don't think a draw was a robbery, like some people make it out. I think some people probably disagree with me, but I thought that first fight was close. It's definitely competitive, but the rematch was no way, shape, or form a robbery. But if they do have the third fight, a lot of people will probably think it's a kind of a tiebreak, and that just closes the chapter because I think once Canelo moves up to 175, I don't think that fight's then going to be possible. Golovkin has never moved up or never fought above 160. I think he's had a fight at catchweight. That was against Steve Rose. So
There you go.
I, I think I think this could be one of the last times we could see that fight.
All right. Thank you so much, Ahmed. I'm going to let
All
Warren.
right, no, this.
All right.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks for
it,
having me.
brother, and continue to follow us in the chat. Get those questions in. And
All right, keep up the good work. All right,
thank
that's
you so much, Ahmed. What rep it? You're live, bro. How's it going?
How's it going, brother? How's the heat right there? What you drinking?
Bro, I got these the 365 brand Whole Foods seltzers. They come in like a 12 pack for like $4. It's a great deal. And I crushed one of these. I don't usually drink these, but I crushed one of these.
Hell yeah.
It was on sale at the supermarket. The Monster tall boy cans.
Is that the watermelon one?
Yeah, the watermelon one. You got it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the shit right there.
100%.
Yeah. In regards to the whole situation with Plant, you laid out the whole thing perfectly. everybody wants guarantees, right? And boxing is a sport where in this era, and this is the COVID era is what I'm talking about, guys are pulling out of fights and we're all calling it a conspiracy, or we don't know if it's happening. People are saying, hey, Fury, that's a conspiracy. Maybe he's doing it on purpose to delay the fight, right? Teofimo. And I'm not saying this is what it is, but I'm saying a lot of people saying this, right? They're saying, hey, Teofimo, we don't really believe you're doing you had COVID, you pulled out the fight just to avoid Cambosis, right? I think they did have COVID. So let me put that on record. I think they did have COVID, right? My point is this: there's a lot of fan bases and people saying the opposite, right? Saying that shit like that is it's almost like a technique to avoid or delay a fight or play mental games. So in this era, I think it's only good that Canelo actually puts something like that in the contract, because something like that can happen, right? COVID is real. People test positive, and if the guys can't make the fight, then you need to replace them, right? In regards to that, I think I'm fine with Canelo doing that, right? Another thing that's weird to me is this, right? In unions, what do you guys call people who jump the line?
We call those motherfuckers scabs.
Right. What do you call scabs who go and act like they're representing the corporate people?
That one I don't have an immediate answer for. I'd probably have to dip into the swear jar to pull another noun for it.
Well, isn't it weird that they send out Caleb Plant to represent the corporate? Like, where's Al Heyman? So Al Heyman doesn't have to come out and say all this shit. What he does is say, hey, you go over there and libel everybody. You go over there and libel all Canelo. You go over there to the press and shit all over what the hell's happening. Leave me. Don't put none of the dirt on me or the corporate handlers that are handling me at this point. That's another thing that people aren't saying, right? So they just go send out like I would say maybe a scab's a strong word, a scab to go and let loose on Canelo. That's what it sounds like to me. I mean, I don't know if I'm going too harsh on that, but it just sounds like, hey,
you're not going too harsh, bro, because look, the divisions in the world to me are very simple. And I'm not one of these dudes that divides people by race, even though I've been accused of it. I mean, race is an issue. Racism does exist. And sometimes I do bring up like race and ethnicity when I'm discussing boxing because, you know, sometimes it's pertinent, but other times it's not. But the biggest divide in the world, ladies and gentlemen, is capitalist and worker. You got two kinds of people in this world mostly. You have people like me that have to sell their labor, which is the biggest value that we have in our capitalist economy. We sell our labor in return for pay. I'm a worker. I'm a member of the working class. On the opposite side, you got the 1%, and the 1% buys labor, okay, and employs people. All right. I'm always for the person who sells their labor, right? Always. And that's if they're XYZ color. It doesn't really matter to me. Like, you know, if the boss who's buying all the labor and paying people 3 cents on every dollar that they generate is black, I'm going to speak out against that person. And if he's doing it to an Irishman or a Chinese person or whatever the case may be, you know, I'm going to be on team worker. I'm always going to be on team worker. And in this scenario, even though Canelo is a multimillionaire, he's still a worker because he's selling his labor. Is what I'm saying make sense?
It makes a lot of sense, right? Makes a lot of sense. I think even professional dart players get guarantees, right? So this is what's so it's such a joke that a person in combat sports does not get a guarantee to have a fight when they can end their career on any fight, right? As you saw, think about this, right? We gave grief to Billy Joe Sanders for the pre-fight and a lot of the shit, kind of like half racial things he was going into. But his career was probably ended with a uppercut to the orbital bone, right? And is that exactly so? if he would have, in other words, if he if he needed the fight, if he wasn't getting paid that much money, his career would be done, guys. Right? Like that, instead of that $8 million payout, if that was just his second fight or third fight, he'd be done. He'd be screwed. He would have made no money out of the sport. You know what I'm saying? There would have been no guarantees that he'd made any money. So it's insane, man. It's insane that people are very out there. Like, I guess it's envy, especially from people who are what corporate people like doing is they like bringing the envy from the bottom. That's why they call the people scabs, right? Because they bring those people out to attack the others.
Yeah, and essentially what's happening here, and we could go into the history of sports and sports contracts and how things were before free agency, right? Like and the pioneers who got athletes things like guaranteed contracts. But essentially, Canelo's paving the way for boxers by making these kinds of demands. Now, people are going to say, "Oh, well, Maestro, like Canelo's being a bitch. Well, why is he demanding $40 million? Well, why shouldn't he demand? I mean, you can only get what as something if you ask for it. And if he starts the negotiation at 25 as a guarantee, he's not going to get 25 most likely. So he starts at 40. And if the opposite end wants to counter with 15, well, then he can come back with 30. And then maybe they bump it to 20, and then he comes back with 25. Like, Kenny, is this crazy what I'm saying? Is this not how negotiating works?
It's 100% how negotiating works. I definitely don't. I saw somebody in chat say that it's a short notice fight and that Canelo has to come down from 40 million. I disagree. It's definitely not a short notice fight. I guess short notice for sweet cheeks. You know what I'm saying? But it's definitely 8 weeks is not short notice. Not if you ask me. 8 weeks is damn near 2 months. That's a long time. But no, I don't think Canelo has to come down for 40 million. Floyd Mayweather used to brag about how he used to demand 100 million. You know what I'm saying? Floyd Mayweather, as we all know and as we all preach, was the greatest of his time, right? He had the most skill in his time. He was the greatest. He brought out the biggest crowd, right? Well, that is Canelo now. Canelo is now the face of boxing. He is the greatest in boxing right now for all the divisions that he fights in. So Canelo should, if Canelo wants to demand 100 million, then he can do so. It's up to the networks to make that happen, to figure it out, or let it go to the zone, like we all said, on free TV, whatever, right? So yeah, it just doesn't make sense the way that people flip flop, right? One day they're saying, yeah, you know, Mayweather deserves his 100 million. He's the greatest of all time. He deserves 100 million. But then when it comes to the other guy who's the greatest right now, as Floyd was the greatest at his time, people are like, well, you know, 40 million, that may be too much money, and you know, he's gonna be called a duck if he doesn't go down for 40 million. Bro, he's demanding his worth. We all demand our worth. We go to job interviews and they be like, all right, so I'm offering you 60, 70,000 for this position to do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And we're like, well, you know, so 60, 70,000, that may be a little low. What do you think about 85? You know, you negotiate, you demand your contract. You don't lower your value or lower your worth, especially when you're the man with the power. Canelo's the man with the negotiating power, not these networks. Canelo could put on his own fighting show. Canelo could rent out a stadium. Canelo got the money to rent out a stadium. Canelo got the money to create his own promotional team, like the Money team. Canelo got the power to do the entire thing. He got the money to do the entire thing, so he could put on a whole fight card all by himself if he really wanted to do that. But he's in the fighting business. He's not in the business of boxing. If you understand what I'm saying by that.
Absolutely. We'll rep it. Any last thoughts? Because I'm going to let in 850 next.
Yes, I just want one more thing, and I want you guys to answer the question on this one, or just to go on about this, right?
Yep.
I hear always that, hey, Canelo is getting 40 million from PBC, and Plant's gonna get 10 million, right? But something that no one has been talking about, and it just gets like pushed over all the time, is this: the Zone actually offered Caleb Plant $10 million. The only reason Canelo went to go said, all right, since you're not taking it here, I'm gonna go and negotiate. Meaning, I am gonna help you out since you don't want help. You don't want to come over here. I will go and negotiate on the zone. The only reason this is happening is because Caleb Plant says, I will not fight on this zone. I will only fight on PBC for the 10 million. Even if the zone gives me 10 million, I'm not fighting there. That's something that no one's saying. He said this on his tweets. He tweeted this shit. He said, you have to come to me. PBC, that's it. That's what people aren't realizing. So it's not like a Plant is out here helping the situation. Canelo actually said, all right, we're giving you 10 million and he's not coming to the zone. So he said, all right, then I'll go over there and negotiate on your terms, guys. Well, and this is what ended up happening.
It's a great point, what Rep It, because I made it yesterday too on the Boxing Voice, and they were like, no, Maestro, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't have all the facts. Well, I can read, yo. You know what I mean? I can read, and just to illustrate what we're talking about, what Rep It. And look, if people want to go at the source of the information, you could go at the source of the information, right? But it was reported, and I'm going to share it here right now, okay, on Boxing News 24, and I've never heard bad things about Boxing News 24. Plant given initial offer for Canelo fight on September 11th or 18th on DAZN, says Eddie Hearn. So an offer was made, right, to Plant. All right. Now, I don't remember if the exact figure was given, but I do remember in other reports and interviews that Eddie Hearn was saying that they would essentially have to pay him more than they paid Billy Joe, and Billy Joe made $8 million, right? So it's just logic would tell you that it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to probably 10 million, right? Right, we'll Rep It.
I'm saying even in the Kovalev stratosphere, that's what people aren't realizing. It's ridiculous to think that that the zone wasn't going to give him 10 million. You don't think they'd pile on the extra 2 because Canelo really wanted it there? Like I said, the whole thing is this: Caleb Plant literally was saying, I'm not going over there. You got to come to PBC. He literally tweeted something to that extent. Come meet me here. That's it. I'm not going there. That's what he was saying.
Absolutely. So I want to try to get 850 back on, bro. But if the lines are open again and you want to continue to talk, you're free to call back in.
No problem, brother. You guys are killing it. You too, Kenny T. You guys are balling out.
Thank you,
brother.
Rep It. Appreciate that, fam. All right, so like I said, Kenny, I'm going to try to bring in 850 here, and we'll see if we can get him on. Pensacola, Florida. I have a good idea about who that is. I don't know if he got busy, had to take another call, but we'll see if we can get him back on.
We have a good question from Etho Cool. I don't have the answer for it though. He said, who made the first offer? Did the zone make the first offer and then PBC came and countered, or did PBC make the first offer?
That's a good question. I don't actually know the answer to that one. So I will put it down on things that I have to go look at. Nope. I got sent to a voicemail on that one. So no. All right. So we'll see if we can get him back on with us later. There is something else that I think needs to be explained. So if you're joining us now, I started off this show, and please go back and check it out on archive, about what a guarantee is. I mean, we all know what the word guarantee means, but I popped it up on the screen. We went over it. All right. This is was a kindergarten class apparently this morning, and I had to really just give a basic bare bones definition of what a guarantee is. And a guarantee is not Canelo agrees to go fight Plant, Plant gets injured, Plant gets COVID, and Canelo doesn't get any money because of something that was completely beyond his control. That's not a guarantee. A guarantee is what LeBron has. He shows up for a game. If there's a power outage at the Staples Center, if the Utah Jazz, their flight was delayed, if the opposing teams, if players are injured, he gets paid. And Canelo's not even asking for what NBA and Major League Baseball players get, which is if they get injured and can't perform, they still get paid. All right, so you got a whole lot of people that say they love the sport of boxing. You got a whole lot of people that essentially say they love boxers. Oh, boxers are great. Boxers are warriors. We hate seeing boxers getting killed. We hate seeing boxers, being broke after they retire, right? We want boxers to be taken care of. but you don't want a guy to have a guaranteed contract when he's the marquee name in the sport? Come on, bro. Really? So,
You know, to add on to what you're saying, bro, I feel like it was stupid. The reason why this fight negotiation fell through, right? Everybody's saying that Canelo, the guarantee money for Canelo, or Caleb Plant was saying the guarantees for Canelo was to push them back. But bro, if you felt some type of way about the guaranteed money and the guaranteed fight for Canelo, just add it to your clause. If Canelo gets sick, if Canelo can't fight, if Canelo this, I still get the $10 million for fighting the next man up, or whatever the case may be. Just sign it to the contract and keep the contract negotiations going. Don't come out to ESPN crying about A, B, C, D, F, and whatever the hell else comes. We still haven't heard anything from Canelo. It just sounds like a bunch of tears from Sweet Cheeks, and it is what it is. And I'm not disrespecting the man's boxing skills or anything like that. I'm more so talking about his character. In my opinion, a dude that comes from the hood, Caleb Plant, is being soft right now. You don't come out. It's like you got pressed to fight in the bathroom back in the day, and when you got pressed and in the bathroom, you was talking about, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight. No, it's cool. I don't want to fight. And then you leave the bathroom, talk about, yeah, you know what I'm saying. I was gonna give that man the hands, but what happened was there was too many of them. And no, stop the shit talking. You ain't complete the contract. It's your fault the contract fell through. And now you came talking to ESPN, and because of your nonsense, everybody thinks Canelo's a duck. Now, it'd be great if Canelo just beat the man in public, not in the bathroom, beat the man in public, to accept his whatever bullshit it is that he wants and just put the beats on the man. I'd love to see a KO when the time comes. And I think that's what we're going to see if and when the time comes. Again, if it comes, when it comes.
If and when it comes. So we just got a call on Skype. I'm going to try to get you back in, bro. So just give me a minute and then call back, and I'll make sure we get you in with your Skype call, because I did hear that come through, but I was typing away on something and wasn't able to click the answer button there. So do call back. There's another thing I want to kind of explain too, Kenny. And the question is always, well, why can't PBC do what DAZN is doing, or more to the point, why is Canelo making a demand that the PBC can't meet? At the end of the day, it's not Canelo's fault that the PBC cannot guarantee him something that DAZN can guarantee. The PBC can only pay Canelo, and again, it's not a guarantee, but he can only pay Canelo. Here we go. I'm gonna answer this right now. We've got Steve on the line. Steve, can you hear us? Steve, can you hear us? Steve, hello. Not quite sure what's going on with that, Steve, but hello, can you hear us, Steve? I'm just hearing nothing but background noise. All right.
TY0786. No one is saying that the fault is on Plant. We just think that Plant should have just instead of saying that contract negotiations are over, Plant should have just been like, okay, so if you have the guaranteed $40 million, then I want the guaranteed $10 million being offered, and if you get sick, then I can also fight the next man up for myself. It's that simple, as opposed to saying, well, no, he's asking for too much, so we're not gonna fight now. Negotiations are off.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not how it should work at the end of the day. It's just not how it should work. And I'm gonna answer Steve right now over here. I realized why I had that audio background. I had the fucking Skype tab open, and that's why we're getting that background noise. Sorry for that.
It's all good. Ring tone got me going.
No, we're managing a lot of different lines here, guys. So just bear with me. I'm going to try to get Steve in because he has called twice. So I'm sure he wants to cook on this topic. I'm going to dial him in right now, and hopefully he can hear us. Steve, can you hear us? Yeah, we can hear you, Steve.
How's it going, guys?
Good. Thank you. Calling in from the UK?
Yeah, absolutely. Steve in the UK. How's it going?
Excellent, bro. Thank you for your patience with that. I had to just sort out the Skype, but we'll get it clean moving forward now that I figured it out.
No, it's all good. I understand. How's it going, Kenny? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, brother. How's it going?
Yeah, good. Cheers, fellas. I just got a couple of points on this whole debacle, really. Maestro, to the point about that I made in the chat about agreeing with you in principle, but the 40 million guarantee.
Yeah.
Not agreeing with that. To take your analogy with team sports.
Yeah.
The thing about team sports is all of their income is pretty much guaranteed. Massive TV deals, all of these endorsements, player wages, they're already budgeted for prior to coming into a negotiation with a player.
Yep.
So they've got a lot more solid ground on which to negotiate with. Whereas with a boxer, you don't know what they're going to generate. You know, pay-per-view numbers, they're all very much speculation until after the fact. So you might say, oh yeah, Canelo's done this, Canelo's done that. But who's to say that they even make their money back on that 40 million guarantee?
Well, no, you're absolutely right. But this is why the DAZN model is a good model for boxing, in my view, and why the pay-per-view model isn't, from the perspective of the boxer and perspective of the fan. So the reason, the reason DAZN can provide Canelo with a guarantee, and they don't do this for all fighters, by the way, but they did it for Canelo, is because it's a subscription-based model where the majority of the money is front-loaded, right? So I pay $100 a year for my DAZN membership, right? And DAZN gets that money, and they use that money to budget for their fights, right? And based on that, if a Billy Joe Saunders falls out, they can replace him with a John Ryder, and the show goes on. The reason that doesn't work on pay-per-view, on a Fox Sport pay-per-view, is because let's say you remove Caleb Plant from the equation in the pay-per-view. You cannot replace him, even with a good fighter like a David Morrell Jr., because it wouldn't be able to be promoted as a unification fight. They would be concerned about not making the same amount of money, right? They would be concerned about all the promotional time and all of the promotional money that they put into it. So what they would do is they just try to delay the fight, much like they've done with Fury versus Wilder 3, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
but you're kind of making my point forward
here,
in many ways, because Canelo to say, all right, if Plant gets sick or he pulls out injured, you've still got to pay me 40 million guaranteed for whatever fighter we put in on that date. Let's just say that is the actual reason, because I know this story's moved on, and they're now saying that PBC tried to slip back in the 3-fight deal, blah blah blah. If we're focusing just on this one point though, the economics don't make sense for Fox. Fox are already taking a huge risk by offering them a 40 million guarantee,
right?
Not knowing what the pay-per-view numbers are going to be, since the last great big pay-per-view star hasn't done one in a proper boxing fight. I'm not talking about Logan Paul, but when was the last big Mayweather pay-per-view? 2018, 2019. So there isn't that much data to actually drive what is going to be a big pay-per-view star these days. So 40 million guarantee is already huge. Now I'm all for fighters earning as much money as possible. Like that's as Kenny said earlier, it's their career, it could end at any point. But I'm also on the side of a business by saying we can't offer you that, because if we think about this, PBC will have been given their budget for the year, say $60 million. They haven't gone to Fox and asked for that budget, knowing that they're going to get a Canelo fight, because there is no guarantee of that.
I agree.
They've had to go back to Fox and say, look, this is what we think he's going to want. Are you prepared to give us the additional money? Fox are prepared to put it up front for that one fight, and if they follow the traditional model of being able to postpone if any of them get injured, but Canelo is putting in a stipulation that means that Fox just can't guarantee.
Yes, but I think there's a method to that madness, brother, and I'll explain it right now, right? Because I agree with everything you're saying. I think Canelo wants this fight on DAZN, and I think what he's showing the world is that the PBC should have never even bid for him, because they can't afford him. and they're not able to do what he needs to be done as the premier fighter in the sport. DAZN can do it. Caleb Plant should have accepted Eddie Hearn and Matchroom's offer to go fight on DAZN, but PBC and Al Heyman didn't want to. All right, so now he's exposing them for the fact that they cannot provide him what DAZN can provide. And I'm hoping this fight takes place in December, because as someone who pays $100 for DAZN every year, I want it to be on DAZN. I don't want it to be on pay-per-view. I hate pay-per-view. Kenny?
Oh no, so do I, and we get them really cheaply as well. And I agree with you, but I agree with some of that. If Canelo wants to fight on DAZN, great. But to say that DAZN Fox can't afford Canelo, I don't think that's strictly correct, is it? Because say for instance he was going to get 40 million to fight Caleb Plant on DAZN. They wouldn't then pay him 40 million for the replacement fight if they put a replacement in. Like John Ryder wasn't going to get the same money as Billy Joe Saunders, was he? He would have got less. It would have still been his career high payday, but he wouldn't have got the $8-9 million. So,
but you talk. Go ahead, finish. Sorry, pardon.
So I don't think it's more of a case of can Fox afford them. I think you're right in many ways that Canelo wants to be aligned with DAZN. That's where he sees the future. But I don't think it's more of the money. I think it's and I think he's realised is he can't afford him if he puts in that extra stipulation about 40 million whoever he fights. So there'd be Avni Yildirim or I don't know. Say he gives Rosario a shot. But I do see your point about Canelo wanting to fight on DAZN. I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, I think that this is all part of a negotiation, and that what I see is that Canelo really wants this fight to be on DAZN. And I remember that at the time of the signing of Canelo to DAZN, I mean, one of the things that Canelo and his team were saying was that he's happy it's going to be on a platform where he doesn't have to get his fans to pay $80, $85 to be able to watch him. And Kenny doesn't like pay-per-view. I don't like pay-per-view. I mean, I'm much more in favor of a model that can provide like guaranteed assurances. And I'm hoping, I mean, I've talked to people in the UK about this too, that we can get to a point where there's some kind of trade union for boxers that can like negotiate minimum standards for these kind of things. It's not like everybody's going to get paid what Canelo gets paid or anything like that. But
that's a different subject, isn't it? I mean, I'm completely in favor of that. But you start looking down the schematics of how you actually organize that. You know, boxers are very individualistic. You know, they don't really give a shit about the next man. You might have your team, but, you know, giving up, say, even if he was 1%, you know, of the Anthony Joshua's, the Canelo Alvarez, the amount of boxers that are around there, it's a difficult point. One more thing I would say, though, is I do feel like Caleb Plant is being thrown under the bus here a little bit, when I think any logical boxing fan knows that he is just what you said the other day, is a highly paid pawn. He has to do what he's being told. That contract stipulates that he does what PBC say. Essentially,
you're absolutely right.
Well, I don't think that anybody's throwing him under the bus. I think he dived in front of the bus by coming out crying. Like just shut up. He should have just shut up and let PBC do the talking. And like, have you heard anything from Canelo? No. People are trashing Canelo right now, saying he's a dud. You still haven't heard anything from Canelo. He should have just let PBC and DAZN and all these other big corporations do the talking and stood back and watched the action happen. Instead, he came out crying, and by crying, he himself dived in front of the bus and got ran over.
All right, Steve, you got it for 30 seconds, and then I got to go to Nopal next.
No, it's all good. One thing I would say is that, I would say that sections of the media are throwing Caleb Plant under the bus, and then sections are throwing Canelo under the bus. To Kenny's point, have you heard anything from Canelo? No, we haven't, and that's what's caused this wild media frenzy / speculation on YouTube about what's actually going on. And people can only form an opinion based on the side of the story they've heard. Now, some people will say that's enough. Bullshit. You know, you need to get both sides of the story if you've got to be objective before you can form an opinion. But I do feel as though certain sections of maybe, you know, boxing media that I listen to are being really unfair to Caleb Plant, whereas Canelo's the big fish, he can take it. Whereas Caleb Plant, it could almost burn him in many respects. But, you know, great show, Maestro. I always enjoy your
thank you so much, Steve. You know, at some point I'm going to get back out to the UK. I actually used to live there. I don't know if you're in the London area, but I'm definitely gonna do some kind of a live show from out there next time I touch down at Heathrow and take that train into central London.
Yeah, I'm about 40 minutes away from London by car or 25 minutes by train. So hit me up.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much for calling in.
No worries. Have a great weekend, guys.
You too. Thank you, Steve.
You too, brother. Thank you.
So let's go to Nopal now. Nopal's on the line. He's been waiting patiently. Nopal, you're on live with Maestro and Kenny T.
Oh, hi. How you guys doing?
Excellent, bro.
Can't complain.
What's up, Kenny?
Coolin', brother.
I just wanted to say that out of this whole thing, the one argument that I heard the detractors, the anti-Analistas, is that it was basically a ridiculous, they called it a ridiculous request from Canelo's part. And, I'm not even going to say you don't know anything you don't know shit about boxing, because it goes even further. You don't know shit about life if you're claiming that that's a ridiculous request. Because let me ask you guys, when's the last time that A-side fighter went outside of his comfort level and fought outside of his network of choice?
I can't think of one, because even when Tyson faced Lewis, like, they did co-promotions, right? When De La Hoya, what was De La Hoya in Trinidad on? Was that on HBO or Showtime pay-per-view? I literally have to go that far back.
Yeah. And if somebody wants to say, hey, Tyson Fury did it, I don't think it was the same situation, because in that situation, guess what? Even though he was an A-side fighter, he happened to be the B-side he made the choice to be the B-side versus Wilder, Deontay Wilder. And the same thing with Pacquiao. Even though he was an A-side fighter, he made the choice to be and he was the B-side to Floyd Mayweather. So, in that situation, he was not an A-side fighter. You know what I'm saying? But in this situation, Caleb Plant doesn't even amount to a B-side fighter, let alone probably barely C or D. You know what I'm saying? In the negotiating position. So it's not. This isn't like a big thing that Canelo's asking for, because when's the last time that a A-side fighter went outside of his comfort level with his preferred network, where anything could happen to him at PBC? You know what I'm saying? He's basically at their mercy. Canelo could have just said, hey, it's either on the zone or no fight. And, we'll not waste no time whatsoever. But because he's a free agent, he's like, hey, let me see what you guys got to offer me. And then, they put their offer on the table. And then he said, well, the only thing, my lawyers are going to add a couple things. I need a little bit of insurance to make sure that, because of COVID and other reasons, I'm pretty sure that anybody puts themselves in that position of achievement and all the fights that he's had and all that shit. He learned something along the way. So, hey, we get little perks like that at the jobs that we have. You know what I'm saying? They give us insurance on a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Why can't a fighter in that position have the same exact thing?
I was making that point early on in the broadcast. I work in a school. If I'm sick, I get paid. If there's a snow day, I get paid. If my class doesn't show up because they're on some other school activity and aren't taking phys ed that day, I get paid. Canelo's not even asking to get paid if he gets sick or if he gets injured. He's asking to get paid, and not for free, by the way. He's willing to fight a replacement, but he just wants to make sure he gets paid. But great point, Nopal. Canelo should have never even allowed this fight to take, negotiations to take place with Fox. It's like, look, I got 3 title belts. I'm what Kenny calls me. I'm the greatest right now in boxing. Monetary wise, I'm a blockbuster star. You know what I mean? I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime. Think Terminator 2. You know what I mean? I'm The Rock, in his action movies. You got to come to my side. You got to play on my playing field, and you'll get some good pay to do it. But, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, and I wanted to add, as far as Caleb Plant and him saying that what if Canelo gets hurt or something like that? Well, you're gonna wait regardless, bro, because he's not gonna put that payday at risk. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna wait till Canelo's good and ready, regardless, because like I said, he's not gonna risk getting beat up by anybody and lose that payday off of Canelo, because then Canelo got to go fight the bums that beat Caleb Plant. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
It's an easy situation for anybody to understand.
Yeah, you know what else? You know what else, No Paul? If I'm Canelo, you know what? Maybe I don't even fight Plant. You know what? Let's let Benavidez fight Plant, and let me take on Benavidez after he gets rid of Plant. Because that's going to be a bigger fight, anyways. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Go fight Benavidez, and if you're good enough to beat Benavidez, by the way, Maestro doesn't think you are, but let's say, all right. Go fight him, and then we'll talk. In the meantime, I'm gonna go take on Bivol. I'm gonna take on Triple G. I'm gonna do me because I'm Canelo. I'm Arnold Schwarzenegger at the time when T2 came out. I'm The Rock. I'm the blockbuster superstar. You got anything?
Yeah.
Else? You got anything else? No problem.
Oh, and I just wanted to say, people like to play teeter-totter, calling everybody a bum that Canelo. So when the fight's not possible, this is the hardest man that Canelo could fight right now. But as soon as it starts getting close to being done or a possibility, all of a sudden the dude's a bum and Canelo's going to beat him easily. About a week ago, people were saying Canelo would never fight Bivol and he would never fight Beterbiev. But now that it seems like those fights could be on the table, all of a sudden Bivol's nobody. All of a sudden Plant is better than Canelo. So it's a funny situation, and we got to be aware of how bad people are with their judgment.
Hey, No Paul, a couple weeks ago, Plant was his shit. He should be fighting Charlo a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Now because that fight ain't possible, you know what I mean? Charlo's going to be, you know what I'm saying? He's the best guy now, again, but if it becomes available or something like that, why is he even fighting Charlo if he's going to knock him out in like 3 rounds? So, it's funny.
Absolutely. No, Paul, thank you so much. And by the way, can I talk about what we were texting back and forth yesterday?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
All right. So my man, No Paul, big supporter of HCP, huge supporter of HCP, is offering a bottle of tequila to the 1,000 subscriber. As long as you're in the USA, you get that shipped right to your door.
Damn.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Jose Cuervo, right, No Paul?
Yeah.
What are you from the UK? Well, what about UK? Do they get like some I don't know, some whiskey, something? Scotch?
They'll get the little mini shot because we gotta pay for that overseas shipping.
I'm about to unsubscribe and make sure I'm the 1,000th subscriber then, just to make sure I get
I'm gonna unsub, Maestro, but I'll still tune in though. I'm just gonna wait for the 1,000. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna be waiting for that shit. I'm just saying.
It's gonna be autographed by Nopal Boxeano.
There you go.
Hey, Maestro, turn on the enable the only sub can comment option.
I agree.
Dude, where do I do that?
I have no idea, but I'm about to unsub to you right now. I'm just gonna make sure I gotta get my tequila bottle. I'm just like,
all right, brothers.
He's losing subs right now.
All right, you guys have a good day, man.
A lot of you motherfuckers tuning in or unsubbing right now because you want the tequila bottle. I'm just saying, I know what's going on. Hey, I just want to show you guys all the chips that Canelo has right now. Hey, Plan, what's your biggest payday? You made about 4 million, something like that. Well, you made what?
Here's what
you only made this. This is your highest payday, man. Hold on, let me help you out with this one right here. Let me get you one of these over here. Here you go, Plant. Here you go, chump. There you go. All right, there you go. You know what? I'll throw you another one. Here. I'll do it on your fucking network. Let's go. All right. Hey, by the way, you only get these chips if you fucking show up, motherfucker. You understand me right now?
All right, so you gave me a great idea, D-Sal. I'm amending that promotion. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to randomly select from the first 1,000 subs. I'm going to put them into an auto generator. We're going to pick a name. And I got another one.
I don't think they're going to sub, brother. I was just joking.
Well, you put the thought out there, so I'm going to go. First 1,000 subs are available. Here's what we're going to do, though, because I'm trying to get to 2,000. For the 2,000 sub, here's what I'm going to, once we get to 2,000, I'm going to select for this. I will offer a fight weekend in New York City. 2 tickets to a fight at the Barclays or at the MSG All right, and 3 nights here in New York City to go out and watch a fight. The only thing I'm not going to cover is airfare. That's for 2.
Well, we're going to give away 3 prizes because the other prize is going to be a Hispanic Causing Panic T-shirt. Okay, so we're going to have another prize. Okay, not this one. This is the old one. Like, you know what I mean? The new Hispanic Causing Panic, T-shirt. We're going to give that away too. And you could be in the UK for that one too, by the way. Just throwing that out there. You know what I mean? So, if you're in the UK, wherever you are, we'll throw it out there. Let's get to 1,000.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, D-Sal. Let's get Fight Doctor is up in the house. You there, Fight Doctor? Fight Doctor? Well, he's on screen. He probably... Oh, there he is. I see him now. Hello? Okay. Don't...
You guys can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Yes.
Okay. Fight Doctor's in the house on Rick James status as all.
Well, and Fight Doctor just left. All right, let's go. Fight Doctor, we'll get you back in. Just come back in here. Not quite sure what happened, but I'm going to put the link back in the chat, and we're doing one at a time on the links, just like on the calls. Let's get area code 443 in. 443, you're on live.
Hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Don't forget, don't only watch, hit the like and subscribe button. Let's continue supporting the channel growth. Let's continue supporting these videos.
Thank you, Kenny. All right, Fight Doctor's back. 443 is gone, unfortunately. I'm going to get 310 in after Fight Doctor. All right, Fight Doctor, let me get you back in here. All right, hopefully we got you.
All right, gentlemen, how we doing?
We got a lot of static on the line, though. Or is that just me?
No, there's a lot of static.
That might be
static, brother.
All right, here.
Disconnect, Fight Doctor, and I'm just gonna put you. I'll remove you for now, but
call through the phone.
Keep you in here.
Call through the phone lines.
Let's go to 310. 310.
Call phone line, brother.
Yo, Marshall, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Well, I just want to talk about the Canelo thing. You know what I just realized about that contract?
What's that?
That a lot of people aren't realizing like the big thing that's like right there in their face. I think the whole thing was with Canelo talking about plant, not necessarily getting COVID. You know what I mean? I don't know if you guys discussed that already, but you know how recently there's been a lot of fights canceled due to COVID. There was like,
well, I heard D-Style trying to explain it on Ringside not on Ringside Reporter, I heard D-Style trying to explain that on the Boxing Voice yesterday. I was on the Boxing Voice. People didn't really understand what I was saying, and I saw D-Style later trying to explain some stuff. People didn't quite understand it. D-Style, can you speak to that? The issue of fights being canceled by COVID and Canelo wanting some kind of assurance?
Yeah, that's what I thought. So,
well, I guess the only thing is that if all I could say is this: if Canelo is gonna go to the other side of the street, he's not gonna do it unless they pay him more money, right? I mean, why would he go if it's not for more money? That's number one. Second, if for whatever reason Plant, even if it's not Plant's fault, right? Shout out to the cat, by the way.
Little Caleb right here.
Yeah, but like in other words, if Plant gets injured and can't fight for a couple months, why should Canelo wait? Like, well, he's losing money at that point.
Yeah. Oh, one other thing I wanted to add was I don't know if you've been hearing this a lot, but a lot of people have been saying that he was going to give Canelo his highest, aside from guarantees. And to my knowledge, I don't think that's true because I don't know if you guys have seen the Graham Benzinger interview where he says that since he left De La Hoya, that he was making way more, even from the guarantees of, I think it was 35 mil per fight, right?
Yeah, it was 365 divided by 10, so 36.5, I think.
Around there.
But we gotta remember too that De La Hoya was getting a chunk of that, or Golden Boy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he said that he was making even more than that now that he has left. Like I said, I don't know if you guys seen that interview with Graham Benzinger.
I believe that, and I'll tell you why. And I was trying to explain this yesterday on the Boxing Voice, but again, like either people didn't want to understand or couldn't hear me because they were speaking over me. I'm hearing from people in the chat today that like my mic was like being flooded over. So here's the thing. Canelo did not lose a lawsuit against Golden Boy or DAZN. That's not true. Canelo sued Golden Boy, and DAZN was added to that for leverage. That's how the judicial system works in the United States. People here sue, they start lawsuits, right? It's part of business, unfortunately for some people, because they could get fucked by it. But Canelo initiated a lawsuit to get out of his deal, right? To get out of his deal. Now, here's what I want people to understand about fight revenue. Fight revenue comes from multiple sources. You got ticket sales, right? You got the broadcasting rights, right? And thirdly, you've got sponsorships, and there are probably others too, but those are the three main ones, right? Now, when Canelo fights for Golden Boy, and he's getting a piece of that 35 million, he doesn't get all of it because a portion of it goes to Golden Boy. But you know what he doesn't get? He doesn't get the sponsorship money. That goes to Golden Boy. No, sponsorships go to the promoter of the fight. When you see those Corona bottles or Dos Equis and those other commercials, that goes to the promoter of the event. That doesn't go to the fighter. Now, you could say that the fighter gets some of that revenue through the promoter, but the promoter gets the money. So Canelo, majority, right? Yeah. So Golden Boy was making the sponsorship money, right? They were taking a piece of the Canelo part, and in addition to that, when Golden Boy sells tickets, who does that go to? It goes to Golden Boy. So when it's Canelo Promotions, at that point, it's not only Canelo making the money from the broadcaster, it's Canelo bringing to the table the sponsorships, which if you noticed in the article, Caleb Plant was like, oh yeah, we're allowing him to keep the Hennessy money. Nah, like that's his money. Did you not notice that? He's bringing it to the table. So it's a very, I was like what? It's such a low level of analysis to say that, oh, well, Canelo was getting paid more with Golden Boy than he is now. Okay, maybe he's getting paid more in the minimum.
He also claimed the Mexican rights, by the way. Oh, we're letting him keep the Mexican TV rights.
Yeah. Again. Like, I'm like, what? There wouldn't be any Mexican rights to dispute over to begin with if Canelo hadn't been there.
Thank you. So when
I just looked up. Well, I just looked up Caleb Plant's net worth. His net worth, he's worth between 1 and 3 million in 2021. I don't see how he's ever earned more than 10 million or whatever millions per fight. He was gonna triple his net worth with one fight with Canelo, and it just doesn't make sense. $10 million is not a little bit of that's life-changing money. That's life-changing.
You're right, Kenny. And this idea that like Caleb Plant is offering the 40 million. Caleb Plant is offering the Hennessy money. Caleb Plant is offering the TV rights in Mexico. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And then they're like, oh, well, you know, it's his team offering it. No, they're not. That's all stuff that Canelo brings to the table. And again, these are all sources of revenue that went to Golden Boy before, but now that Canelo's dealing directly with DAZN, go to Canelo Promotions. Am I crazy, D-Style, or am I making a little bit of sense here?
No, none of this is crazy. I mean, it's like this. It's like Canelo shows up with all the chips. I keep going back to this analogy, okay? He shows up with all these chips, right? And Plant's got this one chip. Like, in fact, Canelo's giving him chips. He's like, here, bro. Like, man, you never made shit. Here you go. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, let's do it. You know what I mean? Let's put the cards on the table and let's go, right? And then Plant's like, oh, I'm letting you have those green chips right there. Like, well, you're not letting me have shit, motherfucker. These are mine right here. You know what I mean? Like, you're lucky. You know what? If I give you one, chump. All right, and there you go. Okay, what do you mean? Like, these are the legacy chips right here. This is what you could make if you beat me, right? This is what you could make if you put up a good fight with me. This is what you'll make just off the cloud of fighting me, right? And these are the other belts right here, all right? So, like, he ain't giving him shit, right? And I just want to make this point. Like, this dude was ranting, okay? He was giving his grievances to fucking Coppinger, and people are running this shit. We don't even know how true this injury clause thing is. It's not like he went over the details of the clause. That clause probably is 2-3 pages long, right? We don't even know the details of it. We're just taking this word of Caleb Plant and Coppinger, right, and the interpretation of Plant, okay, of this clause. He didn't go over the details of the clause. He didn't say, correct me if I'm wrong, did Coppinger ask?
No, he didn't.
Or did we get an answer of, hey, did you guys offer a counter to that? Did he tell him he has to take a little bit less? And if not, what did he say? None of that was said. None of it. Also, I don't want to do this live on the air, but I got to do it. Why? Because Nestor Gibb was wrong, okay? Coppinger himself said it was a multi-fight deal. He said it was a 2-fight deal. Coppinger himself said that, right? Let me just go ahead and read this.
Wait, and what was the right 2-fight deal?
Look, per Coppinger, right? I got the screenshot right here. This is from ESPN, okay? Alvarez and Plant are now seeking new opponents for their fall fights rather than facing each other in their bout that would have unified all 4 168-pound titles. Alvarez was said to earn a career high of upward of $14 million per sources, while Plant was due to make an excess of $10 million, also career best. Besides the 1-fight deal, Alvarez was extended to a 2-fight deal that included a stay busy fight in December, in the native Mexico sources say. So it was more than a 1-fight deal, according to Coppinger. According to other sources out there saying that, no, this was not a 1-fight thing. So if you want the guy with a multi-fight deal, he's set to fight in December, you better give him his guarantee in September because he's going to fight again in December. All right?
100%.
Putting that out there.
100%. Caller, thank you so much for calling in. This is 443. Okay, we do have a caller on hold, waiting patiently. So let me give you 30 seconds. Go.
All right, I was wanted to say that I don't know. It seems like David Benavidez is like hunting down Plant because he's going to the IBF right now, right? You think they'll like push up the what is it called, the mandatory if he beats Uspategi? Do you think it's possible that Canelo will fight Bivol, then go back to the IBF? I don't know. But thanks, man.
Well, right now, there's no one ranked in the first or second slot in the IBF rankings, so I don't think Caleb Plant has a mandatory.
I'm saying maybe the IBF can do it. You know, they're like really strict on the mandatory. It was just a thought, you know?
Well, for that to happen, they'd have to elevate Evgeny, I forget his last name, the Ukrainian fighter, up to the first slot. I mean, I don't know if that could happen. I hope it doesn't, because if he doesn't fight Canelo, I'd like to see Plant take on Benavidez personally, or even David Morrell Jr. Both of whom, by the way, I think are better than Caleb Plant.
Me too.
All right, 443. Thank you so much for dialing in. I really appreciate it. Please call back. Please stay active in the comments. Oh, sorry, that was area code 310. I think we've got 443 on the line now.
Yo, I got somebody gobbling my nuts in the chat talking about Kenny is a racist piece of shit. I bet Kenny from Corny, California. How do my nuts taste, bro? I haven't said shit about race. You sucking balls heavy right now. Caller, you have something to say?
Area code 443, you on there? That's interesting. Okay, we got to get one of those two guys back. Yeah, I had another guy in the chat. He wasn't talking about balls or anything like that, but he was saying like pretty much Ness schooled me, and that apparently we are haters and man fans, that we're unable to be honest. All right, bro, look, at the end of the day, you're welcome to chime in here. The number's scrolling across the screen. Matter of fact, I'm also going to share you a link, because if Ness was schooling me with facts, I'd really like to know what these facts are. And I'd love for you to help us out with that, if you could. So, you know, you say we're haters, we're man lovers, whatever it is you want to call us. Just call in and let us know what you think. And I'm going to bring in a fight doctor while I wait for you to hopefully log in and explain to me how exactly I got schooled with facts. So I'm going to call in Fight Doctor now. Hopefully he answers and isn't trying to call back. He must have been having an issue with his computer, I guess, with static before. Let's see what's
But
happening.
he let him keep Hennessy though. Facts.
I know.
He let him keep the TV rights in Mexico. Facts. He waited till he got married. Facts. These are facts.
Fight Doctor, you there? Hello? I'm not sure what's going on with the brother today. Fight Doctor. Cannot seem to get him on the line. Let me try one more time to bring him in, and then if not him, I'm gonna try to bring in 443 that got disconnected. Fight Doctor, you there? Nope. Fight Doctor's not
By
there.
the way, shout out to the channel. There's 106 people watching, and how many likes? 106. That's what it's all about. Good
Wow,
job.
those are great. That's a great ratio, guys. Thank you so much for supporting HCP, Maestro A Boxing, and Kenny T, who's on here with us live. Fight Doctor. Hopefully we can. Okay, you are live with us now. Thank you. What are your thoughts?
Fight Doctor's in house on Rick James status as always.
Thank you, Fight Doctor. What are your thoughts, brother?
Well, listen, I disagree with the previous caller that I do think the request, if these reports are true, I'm gonna in my mind it's ridiculous, and here's the reason why. Alvarez has not made $40 million with DAZN, at least not to my knowledge, and in making this request, he's essentially asking PBC to pay him $40 million to fight a nobody. Now, they're guaranteeing him $40 million plus the upside to fight Caleb Plant, and he wants to cover his bets by insisting that if Plant should fall out, that there's a contingency plan in place where he doesn't lose the date. And from his point of view, I can understand why he would make that request. But from my casual observations, it looks to me he's asking PBC to do something that his home network, DAZN, has never done, which is A, pay him $40 million, and then B, pay him $40 million to fight a nobody. So in my mind, that's unreasonable. Now, you guys might disagree, but, my casual observation, it seems to me that this, I don't want to call it a duck, but he's definitely pricing himself out of the fight, in my opinion.
I don't want to. I don't want to call Plant a nobody either. He is a champion. He does have a belt. The stakes for this fight are raised because it is for undisputed. It is for the 4 belts. So it does make sense if PBC wants to get themselves in the conversation with the $40 million that they offer, and Canelo wants to get that guaranteed. It does make sense for him to guarantee his bag. If not, let him just get his $30 million over at DAZN. PBC never had to join in the conversations. PBC just wants to join in the money making. So,
It just Fight Doctor just said, if you want this caveat, you could take it for what it is. But he's made $35 million on DAZN.
Yeah, and that sounds about right. But again, my question would be: has he ever made $35 million on DAZN fighting a nobody? Which, if Caleb Plant were to pull out, they would have to bring in a late replacement. That late replacement most likely would be a nobody.
Well, we don't know that. That's opinion. It can be a nobody. We don't know that.
We don't know if that's the case. This is all we know, Fight Doctor. All we know is that Caleb Plant was venting to Coppinger through this as an example, right? And this is his interpretation of the clause. We don't know if they came back with a counter. We don't know what the Canelo team said after that. We don't know the fine details of this. We don't know if the guarantee, like, in other words, even when you read Coppinger's reports, he'll say something like this: Canelo was going to make upwards of $40 million. What does that even mean? Like, does that mean he could make up to $40 million, or does that mean he was going to make $40 million? That needs to be cleared up ASAP. That's number one. And we don't know if Canelo really was saying, "Hey, I don't give a fuck if you get, Kenny T in the damn ring with me. Like, I want to make my $40 million. Okay, if you get Maestro in the ring with me, I want to make my. If you get, I don't care if it's fucking D style. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna knock him out in a round, but I want my 40 million. Like we just don't know if that's the case though.
Hey, I'm down. Like I read in the chat. I'm down. I'm down for 100,000. You know what I'm saying? Give me 100,000. I'm in there.
Fight Doctor, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so the conversation right now is all based on speculation and secondhand information. I agree with that 100%. And, you know, we have to wait till all the facts come out. You know, but just going off of, again, the speculation and secondhand information that we have, you know, that's how I'm, you know, forming my opinion. And to that effect, it just seems unreasonable because, listen, at the end of the day, if Plant were to pull out, and whatever replacement they would pull in would essentially be a nobody, because no name fighter is going to come in on last minute's notice to fight Canelo Alvarez. Nobody with a name, so it's got to be a no-name fighter. So if this speculation, if this secondhand information is true, and Alvarez is asking Fox to pay him $40 million to fight a no-name, then yeah, in my estimation, that's unreasonable.
Kenny or D-Style, you want to respond to that?
First of all, Kenny would make 168 for $10 million. That's number one.
10 million, definitely.
Okay, I just wanted to throw that out there. But my point is this, right? So Plant's ranting and venting to Coppinger about his frustrations about some of the clauses and giving his interpretation of them without any clear understanding of what the clause really is, the details behind the clause, whether or not it's true or not, whether or not, if it is true, what are the fine details about it. We don't know any of that, right? So we're going off of this like clause, which to me, the guaranteed money is not even the main like gripe of Plant. The gripe of Plant was, oh, but if I get injured, he moves on and fights somebody else. If he gets injured, we got to wait for him. Like, he doesn't want to lose the fight if he gets injured. That's his main concern. And that's why he was venting to Coppinger about it. That's why I'm sure, like, the finances of it, I don't really believe are the main concern of Plant. I just don't, right? So all we're basing it off, as Fight Doctor said, is secondhand information, which I don't care, man. Ness can tell me all day, well, he's got lawyers and he's got accountants and he's got them for a reason, right? So at the end of the day, this wasn't the lawyer of Plant speaking. This was Plant himself speaking, venting to Coppinger. And let me ask everybody a question. Did Coppinger reach out to Canelo's team to confirm that was true? Did he reach out to the other side to get any confirmation? You ever watch responsible news anchors say the following? They'll say this: we reached out to so-and-so. They failed to decline.
I was about to say that. Exactly right, D-Style. Spot on. Fight Doctor, anything else, bro?
No, that's it. Just, again, my casual observation.
Well, you're definitely underselling yourself, man. You definitely are not a casual. You're definitely a hardcore head. And did you check out the Vernon Forrest mix I put up?
Yes, very nice. And I must say, it's been a while since I've seen Vernon fight, and what a fighter he was. And a real tragedy that we lost him when we did. I mean, I think he still had so much more to contribute to the sport of boxing. And it's unfortunate that we lost him. And it's unfortunate that we lost him the way we did.
I agree, Fight Doctor. And I put up another mix this morning, this time of Guillermo Rigondo. Check that one out.
We'll do, bro.
Absolutely, fam. You take care.
All right, peace out.
You too.
Yeah, it was a coward. It was just like Corey Sanders, when he was killed, by a coward. That's all it was, So, rest in peace to Vernon, man. Hell of a fighter. I still don't know how. I look at that fight on paper today, and I say to myself, "Oh yeah, he could beat Mayorga," but it is what it is.
We've got A-Rod calling in, and we've got 443. So we're gonna go to 443 first, and then we're gonna go to A-Rod second. 443, you're on live with Maestro, D-Style, and Kenny T.
Good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. Sorry about that before. Sometimes when their calls on hold, it can get a little bit tricky, but I got you here loud and clear.
All right. No, I meant to say when I usually call in, you said you from the Bronx, right?
Yep, we right here. I'm in the Bronx. Kenny T's in Washington Heights. We're both in New York City.
My mom's and my aunts and uncles from up there too, so they moved down here to Baltimore.
Oh, that's what's up, man.
I'm like, okay, it's a little close thing going on there.
Absolutely.
But I got a few things. The first thing is I don't really like how people like they try to bash and bring down Caleb of like his stature and his skill set. I don't like how you do that because I feel like oh he's not a B level fighter, he's not a B. So if he's not this, how much credit will anybody give Canelo for beating him?
I don't think well, my man, sorry, what's your name? So I could call you by your name?
That's there.
Derek?
That's there. The best there.
Oh, the best there is. Okay, yeah, we've spoken before. So I didn't get a chance to lock in all the names. I was writing.
The best there was, and the best there ever will be. Go ahead.
So I'll be completely transparent here. I mean, I would not put this accomplishment in Canelo's top 5 if he beats Caleb Plant.
Yep. I think you said that yesterday.
Yeah,
but I want to know what these Timmy think.
Well, first, if you don't, look, I've never like when you're saying, oh, he's not a B level, C level. I haven't heard anybody say level. I've heard him say side, meaning he don't call the shots like that in negotiation. But let me tell you right now, look, Caleb Plant could box his ass off. He's a hell of a boxer. Like there's no doubt in my mind.
That's why. But it confuses me though, because he's like a great boxer, but then they be like, he's not a B level. He's not even a B level. He's a E level. And I feel as though like whether you like him or not, because I don't have a dog in the race. I don't, or a horse in the race.
Of course. I think it's a good win for Canelo. It's a feather on his cap because it is for undisputed, right? But it's like this, right? Like, how do you rate Ndongo for Crawford? Like, it was a big deal because it was undisputed, but you wouldn't rate him like a top 5 opponent for Crawford, right? Now, granted, I'll say this. I think Plant is better than Ndongo, so I'm not trying to compare him to that. But, I mean, Canelo has a hell of a resume. So if he doesn't make the top 5, it doesn't mean he's a trash fighter or nothing like that. Plus, I think even a maestro would agree to this. Like, he can always amend where he puts Plant. Like, let's say Plant loses to Canelo, but then Plant goes on and does great things after that. Oh, win can age well. It could get better over time.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I have to agree where I definitely don't think that Plant is trash. I said earlier as well that I was never discrediting Plant's skills. I was more discrediting his heart and his personality. I was calling him soft for going and crying to ESPN. So me calling him soft as his persona has nothing to do with his boxing ability. He is the B side, as in Canelo's the A side. Canelo calls the shots. B side just sits there and has the shots called on them. But never was I or are we discrediting Sweet Cheeks Plant, his boxing ability and his belt or his championship status.
And just to be clear, what I did say, and I'm not capping, I'm not trying to troll or be hyperbolic. I do legitimately believe that Benavidez and David Morrell Jr. are better than Caleb Plant. I did say that, and I will own that, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine with me. Like I said, we all have our opinion. We all feel a different way about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is like, I'm grown. I'm a grown man.
Yep.
And when I hear some conversations sometimes, and it kind of gets underneath my skin, and people it's like I'm grown. I'm a grown man. And they try to bring up like the money situation. Oh, he's losing on his biggest payday. Let's be real. All right, say he fights Bacharlo, or he fights Morrell. He fights one of them. Next fight, he wins, right? And then he keeps winning. He's gonna eventually accumulate the money. It might not be all at one time, but he's gonna make the money. And I just feel as though, as a man, stop worrying about another man's pocket. Stop worrying about his money. Because at the end of the day, he's gonna make more money than any of us right here. Either way, in his next fight.
I mean, he's definitely gonna make more money than us here. He's a professional boxer. He has the way to do so. He already owns $1 to $3 million, which if he's a smart man, he'll invest properly and make more money off of his investments. So he's definitely set at a pace to make more money than us. But will he make 10 million in one fight? No, the guy has 20 or so fights already, and he's made 1 to 3 million. I don't see him making 10 million in one fight unless he steps up his opposition, which it seems like he doesn't want to step up because it seems like he doesn't want to even risk the possibility of losing his belt. We aren't pocket watching over here. We're definitely not pocket watching. We're just discussing the negotiations that ESPN and Coppinger put up. We're just discussing those details.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that y'all is. I'm just saying, like, even when you just sitting inside in the chat and you just reading, that people were saying it, and like I said, I mean, if you feel like that, it's towards you, then I guess you just take it. But I just feel as though, how many fights does he have? Like he only has 21 fights. So it's not like he doesn't have time. Like it's like people are just saying, "Oh, go do it." He has 21 fights. If I'm not mistaken, that's less fights than Tank. And Tank is 26?
Yeah.
Or Devin, or he has 21.
What are your thoughts on Tank? Because you're calling in from Maryland.
See, people will call me biased because, like I said, I grew up with him.
Yeah.
And I rode dirt bikes with him and all types of stuff like that. So I've actually seen him outside the gym, as in before when we were little fighting people. So my input is different. So, and I'm gonna represent people who that like people I know and people who come from my city that actually wants to be good.
Right.
And I know what he's doing. I know what he's doing here in Baltimore. Whether anybody else knows what he's doing or how he's moving or what he's doing for the community, I know what he's doing. So I'm gonna look at him as, to me, he's one of the biggest. Like when I think about when you look up the history of Baltimore and you look at how poverty is down here, the crime rate, not too many people get a chance to make it.
Yeah, I mean,
not too many.
I can remember being in like elementary school, and there was the show Homicide: Life on the Street. That was in Baltimore. Then obviously there was The Wire. You know, so it's it's definitely been like in the media as a very tough, hard-nosed place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like I said, I grew up on the east side and the west side of Baltimore, swapping here and there. So, like I said, I've seen a lot, and I know, like I said, like the gorilla. People don't know. People just see the gorilla and think they wouldn't even know what it is because you just think it's something else. I actually know what it means. You know what I'm saying? I know deeper things into people because I actually know them. But like I said, that's my input on Tank.
There you go.
I'm going to sound biased.
Did you hear Ness bringing up a Tank Davis, Keith Thurman potential matchup? He brought that up on the Boxing Voice yesterday. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel he would beat him, but that's not going to happen. They're not going to feed Thurman to him. That's how I feel.
There you go.
Just move Tank the way you move him, and he's going to do what he do. Like I said, some people don't like him because he flashes his money or he gets in legal trouble. But that you gotta understand when you're coming from these communities that we coming from, those things like it's hard to get away from it if you stand in that situation. So he's going and people I hear a lot of people saying I don't like the way he moves. Or at the end of the day, you're gonna get built how you get built, and it's gonna work with how that person wants him to move. That's how I feel.
Well, Canelo
moves how he moves, and everybody else moves how they move. It is what it is. It's boxing. Get used to it. It's been going on forever.
Of course. Thank you for the call, fam. Please continue to tune in.
Sure.
Please hit that subscribe button if you have not yet done so. And hope to hear from you again soon.
I agree. Take care, brother. Pardon. I agree with his last notion. You know, the way that people move outside of boxing has nothing to do with the way that people move inside of boxing. So a person's past, a person's background, where they grew up at, the way they behave outside the street, whatever criminal activity they may have has nothing at all to do with the way that they box in the ring.
Absolutely. And we're going to go back to A-Rod. A-Rod, you're back on live.
What's going on, fellas? D-Cell, Kenny, Maestro.
How's it going, brother?
I came in on the on a dude previous to 443. Was it Fight Doctor?
No, there was four. There
And he
was
saying
443, and then before him it was Fight Doctor. Yeah,
he was talking about
two different callers.
the 40 million to fight nobody. So according to all the thousands of videos I've been watching for the last 2 years, Canelo has been fighting nobody, and he's got a guaranteed of a 35 million. So we go back to why this video started, right, Maestro? Is that you are guaranteed 30 on the chair and tell them, what do you got to offer me? Because I already got 35 over here.
Could you repeat that last part again, just A-Rod, because you cut out for a quick second.
Oh, I'm talking about the guaranteed, how this shows, how you said that, all right, I'm getting paid 35 million. Diesel pointed that out, that he already made that at the zone. So Canelo's going to sit down and tell PBC, what do you got to offer me? Because I already get 35 million over here to fight. Nobody's how you guys say. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
That's what I gotta say in response for him saying that, oh well, he's gonna get 40 million to fight a nobody when he hasn't even got that at his own. But like I said, for the past 2 years, everybody's been saying that he's been fighting nobody. You know what I mean?
I mean, which isn't true, obviously. I mean, Callum Smith is not a nobody. I actually rate Callum Smith higher than I rate Caleb Plant. You know, Billy Joe Saunders isn't a nobody. I mean, he's obviously got people upset with a lot of things that he's done outside of the ring. But inside of the ring, he was an undefeated fighter. He was a WBO champ at 168 and previously at 160. And it was a competitive fight until he got absolutely destroyed when his orbital bone was broken. He wasn't a nobody. You know what I mean? Was Daniel Jacobs a nobody?
I guess the point A-Rod's making is a lot of these guys criticizing Canelo have been saying he's fighting nobodies, right? So to use the argument of nobodies when they're already saying he's fighting nobodies.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm just saying a lot of the people that they say are nobodies are people that I rank higher than Caleb Plant and who have better resumes than Caleb Plant. So that's
and just to support your point, Milcar, these nobodies in his last 10 fights, these nobodies total a total of 10 losses. You know what I'm saying? And the wins for all of these guys by far outweigh these 10 losses. I didn't even have time to do the calculations on their wins. You know, he's taken the O from quite a few guys in his last 10 fights. So, you know, regarding the nobodies and Canelo fighting nobodies, he's fighting. There has been maybe one nobody in between or whatever. I'm not even gonna call him a nobody because they're a professional boxer, but to everybody's definition, a nobody. You know, but he has fought greatness all through. Canelo has by far the best resume in today's boxing.
Yeah, look.
Well,
Here's
that one calls him basically a stump. Elmi Yildirim.
I just don't. I don't want the point that A-Rod's making to get lost with. We all know Canelo's been fighting real dudes. You know what I mean? Like, Canelo's already made. Like when people say, by the way, they're using the word upwards of a 40 million, which always tells me that doesn't necessarily mean 40 million, right? If somebody tells you, hey, you could save up to $400 in your car insurance, it doesn't mean you're going to save $400. It means you could save up to $400. That's number one. But let's take the 40 million. He's already made 35 million. So like that's only 5 million more than his highest guarantee ever. You know what I mean? We're talking about the guarantee. People are making it seem like they're doubling Canelo's pay or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're offering him double what he's ever made, right? No, you're not. You're giving him a guarantee of just 5 million more. That's it. Like that's all. Like, I'm not downplaying 5 million, but the one that is getting more is Plant. Plant is making 10 times plus what he's ever made. So when I bring that up, I'm not doing it to brag about how much Canelo's making or no, I'm showing you who the fucking A-side is. I'm showing you who should be calling the shots. And if Canelo says, let's fight on the zone, you could still get your 10 million. What the fuck do people care if he's not going to make Canelo's not going to make 40 million? So what? What is it to you? I'm just throwing that out there. What is it to you if Canelo doesn't make as much money on the zone? Like, oh, poor Canelo. He's only going to make 30 million on the zone. Oh, poor guy. I think he's going to be okay, guys. Because if it means making the fucking fight happen, then it makes the fucking fight happen. It's my opinion.
I agree. And before you got on today, D-Style, I mean, the point was said. Caleb Plant turned down money to fight on DAZN. I mean, the only reason the negotiations over at PBC Fox even took place was because they didn't want to send Caleb Plant over to fight on another network.
I'm going to co-second.
Is that it for you, A-Rod?
Yeah, I'm starting to cut off in and out, guys. Thank you for the call.
Absolutely.
And thank you to D-Cell for clearing up my point.
Absolutely, A-Rod.
Hey, T, take care, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You take
Have
care.
a good one. Take care, A-Rod.
No, watch what you say out here in these YouTube streets, because if you're going around saying, "Oh, Canelo's fighting a bunch of nobodies," who are these guys that he's fighting? No, nobody knows these guys. And but he's making 30 million, 25 million, 20 million, 35 million to fight these nobodies that you guys are all talking about. Then why are you complaining about him saying, "Hey, I want to guarantee, regardless of who I fight, if you want me to cross the street"? Just watch what you say, because if you want to come back and say, well, why should PBC pay him, to fight somebody that nobody knows? Well, what do you mean he's going to fight D-Style for fucking 40 million, right? Well, one, he's not going to be fighting me. He ain't going to be fighting some scrub. When has Canelo fought a scrub, guys? I mean, come on. Like, I really don't. I doubt, very honestly, that Plant got most of this clause correct the way he explained it. Because everything else he's explaining is stupid. Like when he says, we gave him the Hennessy deal. Okay, are you going to make the argument that his lawyer and his accountant told him that too, or what? Because that sounds stupid as fuck to me.
I mean, it sounds absolutely absurd. We gave him the Hennessy deal. We gave him the Mexican TV rights. Well, who the hell is we? Because, bro, you didn't do that. And, the people are coming at me yesterday, "Oh, Maestro, you don't understand what a team is. It's the team." Well,
but Maestro, you don't understand, Maestro. It's that Canelo said he wants undisputed, so then Plant has a right to hold the fucking belt ransom. You guys are advocating for PBC and Plant to hold the fucking belt ransom. Like hold it hostage and shit. And Canelo needs to just bow down and give him everything. No way, and you're believing this stupid shit. Like, oh, well, they did give him the Hennessy deal, the Mexican rights. I mean, goddamn, Canelo's getting everything. That was already Canelo's. He already has those chips. He gets that anyway, no matter who he fights. No matter who he fights, he gets that. Understand? He gets that anyway. Here, Plant, take the chip. Here, dude. Here, Chuck. Take it. He ain't giving Canelo no fucking chips. He hasn't given him anything.
He don't have chips because you know what? His next fight is going to be against Yevgeny. I forgot his last name.
Shit.
Yeah.
Is that a $10 million fight, Kenny?
Hell no. Come on.
Well, how about this?
I don't even know the guy.
Hey, Plant, remember this, okay? Remember this. The day's going to come because guess what? David Benavidez works for PBC too. David Benavidez ain't going to sit in his hands and knees. The day's going to come where they're going to pressure you to fight David Benavidez. And I promise you're not going to get offered $10 million. I promise you that. Okay? And you're going to be wishing you took that Canelo fight. Just letting you know that. Okay?
One day the O has got to go. And that may be next or whenever you fight Benavidez, if you ever do fight Benavidez, because that 100% looked like a duck. But before I get out of here, I got to leave. I got to go get sold at the gym. Everybody, hit that like and subscribe.
It's going to get big and strong. It's going to get
big and strong. Know. So I could go get that 10 million from Canelo.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Kenny.
We got Nando on the line, Kenny. So just say what up to Nando and then take off.
Sounds good. I'll stay in for this last call, then I'll make moves.
Yeah, Nando. Just to say hello, Kenny. You don't have to say for the whole call. Nando, you live with us, bro.
Hey, I want to say hello to Kenny. Hey, Kenny, homie, I worked all last night, and when I get done with this phone call, I'm going to the gym too, homie. I've been going 4 or 5 days a week, man. I'm coming for you, home. I'm coming for you.
Good job, brother. Let's keep going. Let's motivate. Let's get everybody in the gym, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta get rid of that COVID weight, man. Gotta get rid of it.
Oh, 100%. I'm getting rid of it right now. I'm getting rid of it with this. You know what I mean?
Hey,
No, I gotta hit the gym.
I can't see because I'm on the phone, but saludos to Kenny, Maestro, and G-Style, man. You guys are again putting it down another day in a row, man. You gotta motivate me, man. Motivate me. I love it, man. Good job.
Absolutely.
You keep us going.
Thank you, man. Have a good workout, Kenny.
Thank you.
So, a quick question: do you think, because it's been kind of like a little bit of radio silence, besides with Caleb playing, obviously, that they're still kind of negotiating the fight, or you think they're on to the Bebo fight? What do you guys think?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because yesterday Nestor Gibb told me, "Oh, it's dead," and that Hearn said it's dead. Well, that's false. That turns out that that's not true. Now, Hearn did say more than likely the date is gone, but he didn't say the negotiations were dead, that they might push for another date. So it's possible that they're still negotiating, but it's not going to happen in September or mid-September.
Well, that's brutal. Isn't that how Canelo got mad at Golden Boy when he was getting his dates he wanted, right? And the fights he wanted? I mean, you have to wonder, man, like, again, I don't want to denigrate Al Heyman because, you know, he's a businessman. He's doing what's best for his business. But he's kind of taking a little bit of a page out of Eddie's book, right? Remember, Eddie was holding back Billy Joe and Callum Smith until he was able to get Canelo out from under old Golden Boy. And then suddenly they were open to fight him, right? Like almost immediately, you know? So I don't know, man. I think Uncle Al's running Eddie's own playbook right back on him, you know?
Well, it also showed that Canelo's willing to take less money to make these fights happen, is what it showed. Because everyone keeps talking about the guarantee and that he first had with his own, right? But here's the thing, like, he wanted to fight the Callum Smiths, he wanted to fight the Billy Joes, right? And at the time, the zone, like, didn't really believe in Canelo. You could just tell, like they were, him and Kovalev were laying on the sofa, okay, for like 2 hours waiting for a UFC event to end, because they didn't think they could compete with the UFC. And after that, Canelo said, "Hey, never again. You're not going to pull that shit ever again." Like, he let him know. You know what I mean? And then they were stuck on this, like, oh, we want Canelo to, like, they actually wanted him to box like Masvidal and Conor McGregor. They were going to pay him $35 million to do that. Now, if it was about the money, for everybody out there saying, "Oh, well, he's got to take it. It's more money than he's ever made." This dude was being offered $35 million to box UFC fighters, easiest payday of all time. And he said, "No, bro, I don't want to fight these dudes. I want to fight real competition." He took the shit to litigation. He took out the middleman in Golden Boy, right? And immediately right after that, maybe it wasn't for the same guaranteed money, but it shows that Canelo will give up some money to make some of these fights happen, right? So it's not about the money necessarily. That's why I keep saying, "Hey, fuck this Fox deal. Just make the fight on the zone. Give Planus $10 million, and Canelo will make less than $40 million. But if the fight happens, I'm happy as a fight fan. We got people out here with their wallets out, just willing to just give, $80 because it has to be on Fox." A dude yesterday told me that it's not the same fight if it's on the zone. It's a different fight. So apparently, Caleb Plant's jab is sharper if it's on pay-per-view. Apparently, I didn't know that.
I had a guy tell me that he's a hardcore boxing fan, but that he hasn't watched any of Canelo's last few fights. He didn't watch Canelo versus Callum Smith. He didn't watch Canelo Yildirim. Okay, maybe you get a pass for that one, but to me, hardcore fans watch that shit. I know I did.
You got a pass for Yildirim.
And he didn't watch Canelo take on another champ in his weight class in Billy Joe Saunders for a 3-belt unification. What? And then I had another guy tell me that he doesn't watch the zone because the production quality is not as good as it is on the PBC, because Al comes from a concert production background and knows what he's doing more than what they do at Matchroom. Kenny, I know you got to get going, so if you're waiting to share anything, go ahead.
Yeah, this. A lot of people have foolish thoughts, and they just want to support who they support, right? But what Nando's saying brings me back to a previous statement that I said, right? If we're gonna compare Al Heyman and the PBC to Hitler and Nazi Germany and the Holocaust, and Al Heyman's a tyrant, if that's the case, right? Then Caleb Plant should have just shut the fuck up and let Al Heyman do all the fucking talking and not gone to ESPN crying like a little girl. That's my last and final statement before I get up out of here. You guys have a great one.
Kenny
It's always a
T.
pleasure.
Hey, Kenny's T is down with 8CP. I'm just gonna tell you guys right now.
You already know. All day, baby. You guys have a good one. Mad love.
You too, Kenny. Right back at you, bro.
Like and subscribe, everybody. Like and subscribe.
Second half of Mano a Mano every Monday here on this channel.
100%. You know, and you heard that directly
Also,
from
since day one, man.
Right? You heard that directly
man,
from the quarterback, El Capitan, right there, D-style boxing. Nando, any other thoughts, man?
One last thing for Al Heyman, right? And to his credit, I don't know why Caleb Plant isn't really paying attention, right? But Al Heyman let Andy Ruiz go to the zone and get his two biggest paydays he ever had in his life, right? So Al Heyman didn't get in the way of that, you know? So the zone was offering $10 million to Caleb, his biggest fucking payday. He just said, hey, Al, can you please help me out like you did Andy Ruiz? Let me get my payday, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, fair is fair, man. You know? You let Andy Ruiz get his biggest payday, Caleb should have got his biggest payday and just shut up, man. He's a pawn. Like the English caller said earlier, he's a pawn in the game, man. He ain't a shot caller. Get that money.
You know what's funny too, right, Nando, is that what happened to Luis Ortiz after he turned down the AJ fight? What happened to Adam Kaunaki after he, as somebody said in the chat, after he turned down the AJ fight? What happened to Andy Ruiz when he took the AJ fight?
Yep.
Got more of these is what he got.
Hey, I know you got a lot of callers. I know you guys been on for a while, man. I just want to call and give my 2 cents. I appreciate it, man. Great show. You guys, man. ACP, man, for life.
100%.
There you go.
100%. You know,
8C piece. I like that one, by the way. I'm going to steal it from another.
100%. Nando.
Let it rotate, man. Let the piece rotate. All right, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for that tweet, bro. I saw it. Thank you so much, fam.
All right, homie.
All right, que pasen buen día. So we got Nando over there dropping gems on us, D-Style. And look, you know, he's right. The phone lines have been buzzing, you know. I'm not one of these dudes that, you know, says that the phone lines are full when, you know, there's not really that anybody calling in. Like, we got people calling in here, right? We got you know, the chat is buzzing. We got lives going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm actually glad that they're commenting in the chat and not sending us emails and shit. You know what I mean? It's such a hassle to go all the way to my email box. You know what I mean? And check the flooded comments over there. Keep posting in the chat, guys. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, post in the chat, because at the end of the day, I mean, my email is up there, but I'm not going to tell you it's flooded because it's not flooded. But my email is up there. And
don't flood my email. Don't do that. I got other email.
What I am going to do, though, because I did it before, but when I drop the links, guys, I'm only do one at a time, just like I do with the callers. We're not going to have like 6 people up here on the screen speaking over each other. I'm putting in the link there if anyone wants to chime in on this. And I'm going to let What Rep It take over for a moment here right now. What Rep It, you're on live with D-Style and Maestro, #HCP.
What's up, D-Style? What's up, Maestro? I'm just calling in to piggyback off of something that the homie Nando said, which was pretty interesting. He said that they sent in Andy Ruiz to fight. They let him fight Joshua, right? That's a technique PBC uses. They send guys in who they didn't really give a shit about. They send them in the suicide missions. They're like, hey, you go over there, we'll risk you because we don't really give a fuck about your ass. You go over there, get knocked the fuck out. But if you do win, guess what? We bring back that shit to PBC. Similar to when they sent Brian Castaño to fight Teixeira, right? They said, hey, we're not sending Charlo over there. We'll send Castaño's ass to suicide mission himself. In case he does get that belt from Teixeira, he'd come back and we could feed him to Charlo. So they only send out guys that they don't really give a rat's ass about, in my opinion, right? In PBC. I wouldn't give Al Heyman that much credit for anything else in regards to that. As you can see, Wilder, they didn't send him out versus AJ, right? Right? They didn't send him out. So to me, it's just kind of weird. It's just a pattern that I see with PBC on who they send out on these missions to take the belts from other organizations or other promotion companies. I don't know what you guys think about that.
East out.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if they feel they don't have, they weigh their options, right? Andy Ruiz wasn't their top heavyweight at the time. If anything, they had just acquired Andy Ruiz. Ruiz was, I think he was let go by Top Rank. And, it was just a good opportunity. Al Heyman said, yo, go over there. I'll get my cut. He didn't have, what was it, $4 million or whatever they give Andy. He didn't have that type of money for Andy, anywhere near that, and he had nothing to really lose. If Andy wins, he brings the belts home to PBC. If Andy loses, okay, no big deal. I can still kind of market him like he's doing right now, right? So, they got 2 fights out of it. I mean, Al Heyman gets a cut out of it. You know what I mean? So there you go.
Exactly. Also with the Castaño and Teixeira, right? They said, hey, you know what? We're not sending anybody else, but Castaño will send your ass out over here to Sheriff. Even if he beats you, even if the Sheriff beats your ass, we don't care about it. It's not a risk to us because our guy from this division is Charlo. So we don't really give a rat's ass about you in that sense, right? So it's just weird, right? Like they don't make fights, but they what they call is a risk reward, right? So they only make fights that they're low risk, high reward when they send guys out, and it's usually with a prospect or a fighter that doesn't have.
What happened? Yo, man.
Because I lost you there for a second.
Okay. Hey guys, can you guys hear me?
Hello?
Put a 1 if you could hear me in the chat. I don't know if it's my internet that went out or Maestro. So
No, I think it might have been something at my end, but we've cleared it up right now. We're loud and clear. What rep it? Please repeat what you said.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay.
All right. I don't know if you guys caught the tail end. What I was saying was, I said that the thing about Al Heyman is this guy doesn't exist. I don't even know if he exists right now, right? Like literally every interview, everything people say Al Heyman. He's the only person who's an executive or the promoter, right? You can list Bob Arum, you could list Eddie Hearn, you could list all these other guys who come out and they have to speak for what they're doing or have to take accountability for what they're doing. But Al Heyman is the only guy doesn't exist. There's only one picture of him on the internet. He takes no accountability. All the fire right now is going to Caleb Plant because that's the method they use, right? So I'm just wondering why no one ever says, none of these corporate types who are like journalists, like Coppinger, which he does what he does, right? Why doesn't he say, I'm not taking it from your side. Let me speak to Al Heyman because he's the one that knows all this. He's the one doing contracts. That's the thing that puzzles me with all this, right? And no one calls them out, and no one keeps on trying to figure out what's going on with this whole situation. It's weird to me. You know,
what I'll agree with was this. I do believe that Al Heyman exists. He's taking but what he is he's like a manager / advisor, but a de facto promoter, if we're honest. You know what I mean? But so he does stay like behind the scenes. He's kind of mysterious in a way, so you can't really call him a lot. You can't point out his lies, his inconsistencies, because we don't have any direct quotes from him. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's by design. But I think the guy's real. But this, I will say this does happen a lot with PPC fighters. Like Plant will come out, he will say, "Oh, my team said this, my team said that. They want this and they want that," and then writers like Coppinger just go with these quotes and they become these stories. But We don't even know if we don't know. One, we don't know if the injury clause is real. Second, if it is real, we don't know the details of it. None of us do, because it's not like they went into detail. It's not like Coppinger did any investigative work. He didn't go ask anybody. He didn't go to the other side and ask. Okay, and you're right. He didn't say, "Hey, let me talk to Al Heyman." The answer's going to be no. He's not going to be able to talk to Heyman, but he should at the very least attempt, or at least say, "Hey, Heyman declined to respond to this question." But you make some good points. But I do think it's real, though. I have seen, like, I know Nestor Gibbs caught him on camera one time, and he's out there.
he was caught on camera one time, right? This is what we're talking about, right? That sounds like some.
So Al Heyman's like a UFO, pretty much, or Bigfoot,
yeah, exactly.
or the Sasquatch.
Exactly, and I hate to say, I hate to break it to everybody who's a PVC enthusiast. Hey, for all I know, he might just be a prop, and it's just a white guy behind doing everything, guys. I hate to say it. So I could say that right now.
It's funny you say that because it's funny you say that because shout out to my boy Coach Malachi. His channel name is hard for me to remember, but it's like New Media USA Today Boxing, I think is the full name of it. But yeah, I mean, he points out the fact that a lot of my brothers, my dark-skinned black brothers, seem to be riding with Team Heyman because they believe that, he is, all about, black people and that it's all a black business, even on my, like when I order Uber Eats, like they started showing me what the black businesses are and whatever, to order from. But he pointed out, Coach Malachi Williams, that okay, Al Heyman's black, but like the people behind him, the money people, the Waddell and Reed, like he went over to their website, went through it one by one, and pretty much showed that, yeah, I mean, guys, this ain't about race. Like, just stop it. Al Heyman does business with white people. So we just need to end that narrative.
Andy Ruiz is with Al Heyman.
Yeah.
Santa Cruz is with Al Heyman. Like, I'll give him this. Like, he gets dudes paid. He gets some money, right? Right. Like, he does get fighters paid.
And he has financial literacy too. Investments and that kind of thing is what I've heard.
Yeah, like I'm not going to say he's totally bad, but we don't know where his stances are in social issues, and because nobody's ever interviewed Al Heyman. No one's ever talked to Al Heyman. So how do you guys know where he stands with social issues and on whatever the case is, right? You don't know. Al Heyman is just a businessman trying to make money. That's all he is.
100%. And is he trying to do right by his fighters? Yeah, he is. I'll 100% agree with that. I mean, apparently his brother was a fighter that was hard done. So he's, has an avid interest in making sure that fighters are protected and whatnot,
I need to point this out because somebody in the chat said earlier that they're calling Saul Canelo Alvarez the white hope in this situation. Like, he's going to be fighting Caleb Plant. Like, come on. Like the optics of that doesn't even look right. Stop. All right.
Right.
Saying.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it is what it is. We'll rep it. You got anything else?
Yeah. I like what D-Styles did with the chips, right? With the poker chips. He's basically doing something with physical, so people can see what they're not actually downloading with their brain. So I like that he's doing that because it seems like a lot of people are hard pressed to understand the logic or the thing that's happening.
A lot of us are visual learners, though, right? A lot of us learn by looking.
Yeah, man, and it's like you said, right? It's insane, right? Ring Magazine bout, WBC, WBO, WBA. And this man has the IBF with no one or two on the rankings to challenge him, and the rest is Abnaga Madoff or all these weird names that I can't even produce right on the IBF. It's insanity, man.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't know if this Evgeny guy is a $10 million fight. Maybe he is. I don't think it's a $10 million fight for him, but look, he's going to make his decisions, and You know, if he wants to be served up to Benavidez or served up to David Morrell Jr., you know, like they say down south, have at it, horse.
Hey, can I have the caller go ahead and go over everything Canelo brings to the table while I show this to everybody?
All right, so
quick question, Maestro.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask. This is interesting. Just an interesting experiment.
Hold on to
right?
that D-Style. Hold on to that D-Style. Yep, go ahead. We'll rep it.
Right now, if Canelo had offered, if PBC and Canelo were negotiated and they said, all right, we're not going to fight Plant. Let's say we put Benavidez in Plant's place. Do you think Benavidez would say, I'm going to play with all this? Or would he say, let's fight right now? Whatever, yeah, let's fight right now.
Well, D-Style's the one who should answer this because D-Style took the lead on the Benavidez interview and it was conducted on his channel.
Well, look, you're talking about here's what I will say. Plant said that Benavidez was sent an offer and Benavidez turned it down. I flat out asked Benavidez. Benavidez looked at us like we're crazy and he said, and bro, do you believe that? That's what he said. Like, do you really believe that? Then he proceeded to say, this is why I don't like Kid Plant. He's always fucking lying. Right? He's always walking around and shit don't stink, and he's always lying. Right? That's what basically what David Benavidez said. Right?
100%.
So
look, what rep it? I'm gonna bring in Coach Malachi Williams real quick. So please continue to be active in the chat. You know,
can I give a shout out to Malachi, Coach Malachi Williams? I heard him. And shout out to Coach Malachi Williams, shout out to Maestro, and shout out to D Styles. You guys are all killing it. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, What Rep It. And always, you always have great calls. Please continue to call back. So here we go. Coach Malachi, you there, fam?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, brother. How's it going?
Good, man. I just finished a session with one of my clients. You know, I'm a strength and conditioning coach, so this guy's getting ready for a competition. So I'm helping him cut his weight down, and you know, got him doing a lot of super sets. So I'm just leaving the gym.
That's what's up. I mean, I've seen you on your channel squatting hella weight. Guys need to check that out because Coach Malachi ain't just about the boxing. He's like my brother Kenny T. He's all about the strength and conditioning and the fitness. So look, Coach, I've been seeing your videos. I mean, you, me, D-Style, there's a few others who seem to understand the whole picture here. I'd just like you to speak to this whole thing about Caleb Plant allowing Canelo or giving Canelo the Hennessy deal, giving Canelo the $40 million, giving Canelo the Mexican TV rights. Because, I mean, I remember seeing this dude take on Figgin Butts, Caleb Truax, and Mike Lee, the Subway guy, and all of a sudden he the A side and Canelo's like the scrub.
Before I get into that, man, shout out to Maestro Boxing, man. You know, salute that my brother, man. I love your content. Hey, you got that voice, man. It's something about your voice. You got the radio voice as well, bro. I like Maestro Boxing. D-Style, come with that effing, not gonna curse, come with that effing energy, that intensity. I got a whole lot of love for D-Style.
Shout out to you.
D-Style, Black and Brown, you know, just a bunch of channels. Just a bunch of channels, man. You know, just a bunch of channels I really, really like, man. And I watch every day. If I don't catch the live, I always watch the replay.
Same with me with
But anyways, yeah, man. Listen, bro. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, bro. You know, it's ludicrous to me, you know, to say that, you know, Caleb Plant gave anyone anything. He's a C-class fighter at best. He's a C-class fighter, right? And listen, I don't want people thinking that I'm gonna, you know, take a crap on Caleb Plant, but he messed up when he came out in public and got in contact with ESPN. He's with the voice in his frustrations or complaints, and he was talking like he was the A side. We gave him that. We gave him this. Look, sir, you haven't given anyone anything. You are a $750,000 fighter. You are a six-figure fighter. So you need to understand your role in the pecking order. As a matter of fact, you probably wasn't not even in on negotiations because you got to call Al. Al was handling that. So Stop talking like you gave Canelo anything. This guy has a net worth of $140 million. Cut it out. That's the only thing that ruffled my feathers. And then on top of that, when I go around these YouTube streets, I'm seeing that, you know, what these Alphabet Boy channels say, we ain't gonna say their name, these Alphabet Boy channels say, yeah, you know, Canelo ducking and this and that, because they hate Canelo anyway. And if you don't like Canelo, fine. That's cool if you don't like Canelo. But what you're not gonna do, you're not gonna tell me that Canelo is ducking Caleb Eggplant. Now I got a problem. He's ducking Caleb Eggplant. This guy by far has the worst resume in the sport of boxing today out of all of the champions. Hands down. Hands down. Like, that's just my opinion. If you look at his resume and look at any other champion in the sport of boxing resume right now today, by far, he's at the bottom of the list.
I agree.
Like, that's all I'm saying, but I don't mean to get hyped up, because every time I think about it, I get hyped up.
Get hyped up, because I'll tell you what got me onto my chair in front of my webcam in my den in the South Bronx was this dude saying that Canelo's bark is bigger than his bite. My guy, you a Chihuahua, my dude. Canelo, he a big Great Dane. Canelo's, what's that dog from Beethoven again? A Saint Bernard, D-style?
Saint Bernard, yeah, Saint Bernard.
Canelo's a Saint Bernard. You know, Canelo a bull mastiff. Who are you to say that Canelo don't have a bite, that Canelo just have bark? Matter of fact, I put it together a little Canelo mix, right? To Nas hate me now. I want everybody in the all 128 people that are on the chat right now. When you're done here, check out my Esther Boxing and go check that shit out. Coach Malachi or D-Style, feel free to chime in.
Look, at the end of the day, I'll say this analogy again. Saul Canelo Alvarez is that dude with all the chips, and Plant has one. It's an IBF belt. He's trying to hold the shit ransom. I get it. You're trying to hold that shit hostage. I get it. I'm not even against him negotiating to get more money, none of that. That's where you're getting $10 million, 10 times plus what you ever made in your damn life. That's life-changing money. That's what that is. But for you to come out and say, oh, we let him keep the TV rights in Mexico. Motherfucker, Canelo's been getting 20 million views in Mexico since he was a teenager. A teenager getting those views. He was always selling out like freaking arenas over there as a teenager, dude. All right? Who are you to tell Canelo that he could keep Mexico? Who are you to say that? Oh, we've been waiting for him to, get married, and we waited for him to do his TV show, and we waited for him to, he went golfing and all this other dumb shit. It's his people and your people talking anyway. He could do whatever the fuck he wants to do, right? He just fought in May. You haven't fought since the fucking Truax fight. Caleb, sweet time Plant. First time, you needed more time to recover and prepare after the fingerbutt fight.
This dude.
Second time, you needed more time to prepare. Now, you're the one complaining about time. Look at these chips. Look at all these chips, ladies and gentlemen. Here, Plant. Here. Take this chump. Take. Here. You never seen one of these red ones, have you? No, now you have. Here, take it. Right?
This dude's coming off Mike Lee and Figgin Butts and needs extra time to prepare for Canelo. He coming off Caleb Truax and is acting like he don't have enough time for Canelo. At the end of the day, he should have taken the fight on DAZN, just like Andy Ruiz did for his highest payday. Because I don't know about you, Coach, and I don't know about you, D-Style, but as somebody who pays $100 motherfucking a year for my DAZN sub, I have
DAZN too.
Yeah, I would rather this fight be on DAZN than an $85 or $80 pay-per-view.
But Maestro, the caller yesterday said that it's a better fight on pay-per-view.
So let me ask you this, Coach, because I had guys coming at me yesterday telling me all kinds of stuff, right?
Right.
Is the production value on DAZN a reason for Caleb Plant to turn down fighting on DAZN?
No, I mean, look, listen. What's the brother named Daniel Jacobs? He used to be a PBC fighter, right? Yeah. And he told Al, hey, listen, I want to go over here and work with Eddie Hearn because that's where the money was at. Yada yada yada. There was no issue. Daniel Jacobs is probably the only one that I can remember. He is the one fighter from PBC that was like, look, Al, you are my advisor. I don't know what the conversation was, but I'm just, just say,
ad-lib it, coach.
Right,
you're doing good. That's pretty much how it went down.
Listen, Al, you work for me, I don't work for you. I know that you want me to stay on the PBC, but Eddie Hearn is paying money for me to get these fights. I'm going to get the Canelo fight. He fought Triple G. I don't know if he was with PBC. He probably was with PBC at the time. I'm not sure. But I'm saying, look at what Daniel Jacobs, look who he was able to fight. He was able to fight Triple G and Canelo. And he was able to fight, and he made some damn good money with Eddie Hearn. So my thing is this, like Caleb Plant, all I'm saying is this. Hold on. I don't want to forget this. You also said that, hey, I don't want to make a penny more than what I'm worth, but I also don't want to make a penny less than what I'm worth. Well, according to the receipt, you are worth $750,000, sir. That's what Al Heyman is saying. Al Heyman has never paid you a meal before in your life. You don't know what $1 million look like from a fight per standpoint. So, Canelo Alvarez, if he wanted to fight me, of course I would get killed in 30 seconds. I would sign the contract in a heartbeat. Canelo, whatever you want. Mexican rights, Puerto Rican rights, the continent of Africa rights, whatever rights you want.
You let him keep Hennessy, though. Do you let him keep Hennessy?
Man, he have Hennessy, E&J, Ciroc, whatever brand he wants. I'm getting $10 million.
The funny thing is,
I don't give a.
I saw you on the Boxing Voice. I saw D-Style on the Boxing Voice. I was on the Boxing Voice. First of all, salute to the brother Ness, because he has people on that don't agree with him, which is more than I can say about a lot of channels. And I'm not even going to do the whole cough barbershop. No, I'm directly at barbershop. I go on barbershop. I literally say in the chat who I think will win a fight, and people are timing me out, but for just saying I think XYZ is going to win a fight. Okay, well, that's not how we run it on my channel. That's actually not how they run it on Ness's channel, the Boxing Voice, either. So salute to him for having you on, Coach, for having me on, for having D-Style on. But I go on there, and guys just don't seem to get it. It's like, guys, Canelo ain't losing in the deal he has with DAZN. Canelo fought his ass off to get out of the plantation he was on, with Oscar taking a chunk of the money that DAZN was providing. And what people don't seem to understand, Coach, is Canelo brings more than just what he gets paid from the broadcaster, because he has his own shit going on. He brings in Hennessy. He brings in Mexican TV rights. He fills a fucking stadium in Texas. None of that money is on the table for him with another promoter when he's under them the way he was with Golden Boy, because Golden Boy controls the sponsorship. Golden Boy controls the ticket sales. Golden Boy gets the money from DAZN, right? Keeps their portion of it, and then pay Canelo. So, God, I just don't understand. And by the way, Coach, because I'm going to run this back before I end at 3, and I'm going to ask you to drop the link, because you got a wrench on my channel, so you could drop links. What is the misunderstanding over the term guaranteed? Guaranteed means that I get paid if Plant is injured, gets COVID, busts a rib, busts the sweet hands up, find another person for me to fight, guarantee me my money. Guarantee, and I very rarely disagree with Joe Habib, but I disagreed with him over this very vociferously. If Al tells Canelo, look, we got 40 million for you, but if we have to cancel this fight because Caleb Plant gets injured, Caleb Plant gets COVID, Caleb Plant gets a cut, Caleb Plant gets a bruised rib, Caleb Plant, his sweet hands get broken. Oh, Mr. Canelo, we're going to cancel the fight now. You don't get $40 million. That's not a guarantee. You understand that, right, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. A guarantee is like in baseball, they have guaranteed contracts. Yep. It's like in basketball. Kobe, got the recipe. LeBron, hey, listen, man, you got a guaranteed contract.
if the game was to get canceled somehow, or let's say you show up, you got sick, or let's say that the other team got sick, or whatever the case may be, he has to guarantee he's going to get paid. Well, that's a guarantee. He's guaranteed to get that first, regardless of what. And let's say if Caleb Plant was to pull out for some reason, like you say, he gets COVID, he hurts his sweet hand. You know, okay, cool, we can replace him with another opponent, but I still want to get paid. You know, my guaranteed pay. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, bro, listen, I'm not sure, but I think Floyd Mayweather, you know, he was getting guaranteed money, stuff like that. I mean, bro, that's what a guarantee is.
He got a guarantee to fight a bantamweight kickboxer when he went over to Japan.
Yes, he did.
But Canelo can't get a guarantee to fight Caleb Plant?
I mean, you got to understand too, right? It's going against the narrative. Like, you know, let's be honest. Now, a lot of these guys, they don't like Canelo. And listen, I always say this, D-Style, Maestro. If these guys didn't have a double standard, they would not have a standard at all. Because their double standard is ludicrous to me. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Okay, one example is, okay, this fighter should accept whatever terms that this guy says because he is the A side. This guy is the A side of the equation. He is the big fish. He's doing bigger numbers. You know what I mean? He has more belts. He's bringing more to the table. He did most of the heavy lifting. So because of all of these things and these factors, the guy who only has one belt, who is not doing the numbers, who is not doing the heavy lifting, you know, who is not the big fish, he needs to accept whatever the big fish offers him. Except when it's Canelo Alvarez. Except when it's someone who is not a PBC fighter. When it's someone who is not a PBC fighter, then all hell breaks loose. You see what I'm saying? So, bro, you know, my thing is, I'm fighting. I'm not fighting. I'm fighting the double standard. I'm fighting the hypocrisy. These guys are disingenuous when they say these things. And the crazy part about it is, Maestro, they say it with a straight face. They say it with a straight face. I'm like, this nigga lying his ass off. I know he's lying, and I know he know he's full of it. But you gotta understand, these guys have a personal relationship with that side of the fence. I'm on the other side of the street. I'm on the other side. I'm not on that side of the street. I'm on the other side of the street. So they have a personal relationship with certain people over there. So they have to toe the narrative. They have to toe the line. You know, and that's just what it is. You know, and I can't. But I can't do it, dog. I mean, I'm not gonna do it. No, and that's all I'm saying.
Absolutely, Coach. Listen, get ready for your show, bro. I'm going to be tuning in for sure. And when you're ready, just drop the link because I'm going to end at 3 and I'm going to ask everybody here to head over there.
Yes, sir. I just pulled up at the house right now. I'm going to my office and drop the link.
Perfect, bro. All right, I'll see you.
Right.
I'll see you on your channel in your chat, fam.
If I were everybody.
Big time, what's up, man?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Shout out.
All right.
Absolutely.
If I were everybody, this is Canelo's hand, and this is Caleb Plant's hand. Now, you know, a pair of 8s ain't bad. You know what I mean? It's not bad, but I don't think this guy should be telling this guy what he's giving him, what he's going to do for him, or I'm going to give you what you already have. I mean, bro, he was close to saying that he allowed Canelo to get married. Okay, that's basically what he like.
I forgot about that one. Absolutely.
Okay, so Canelo has a wife because of you. He got married because of you. He went golfing because of you. He has a TV show because of you. He has a yacht because of you. He has tens of millions of dollars because of you. He's made all the money. He has a TV rights in Mexico and has been selling out arenas since he was a teenager in Mexico. Okay, getting 20 million viewers in Mexico because of you, Caleb. Okay, Caleb. Okay.
So before we go to Hamed, because Hamed's joined us, I want to tell you guys about how I view Canelo. Canelo is a game changer. Canelo's trying to do something that has not been done before. And you know how I know it hasn't been done? Because this is what I hear. Oh, Canelo's a bitch. Why is he asking for $40 million guaranteed? No fighter's ever had that before. Why is he doing that? He's a duck. He's a duck because he wants $40 million guaranteed. Well, listen up. Go to the internet. I like doing shit in real time. One of the most legendary men, okay, in the history of sports is a man named Curt Flood, African-American baseball player. All right? He played baseball in a time when a team signed you to a lifetime deal, and the only way to get out of that deal was to retire. There was no free agency.
Or get traded by them, yeah.
Or they would just trade you and you'd have no say in it at all. You were essentially an indentured servant as an athlete for the rest of your life.
And they told him, "Shut up! You're getting paid a lot of money."
Yes, and the reason Curt Flood, was vilified at the time because he was fighting for rights that every player in the NFL, sorry, not the NFL, because they treat their I keep saying NFL, they treat their players very badly. Every athlete in the NBA and Major League Baseball has. Free agency is a thing because of Curt Flood. Canelo is saying we need some guarantees in boxing. And I don't understand how people can say that they love boxing, that they support fighters, that they hate seeing fighters on hard times and struggling with things after they retire. How you could be against Canelo asking for a minimum. I'm not saying he's exactly like Curt Flood, but he's doing something different. He's game changing. And if we ever get to a stage where I hope we do, that fighters get some kind of guarantees, get some kind of pensions, get some kind of assurances, and don't just work at the behest of these leechy, I was going to say a really bad word just now, these leechy promoters.
Leeches. How about that?
Leeches, as promoters, we're going to look back at this time and commend Canelo for it, just like we look back and commend Curt Flood. Look up Curt Flood. Look him up. All right? And that's who he was. That's the picture right there of the man that is the reason we have free agency in sports. Curt Flood, look it up. Let's go to Hamed real quick, D-Style. Hamed, you're on live with D-Style and Maestro.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys. I agree with pretty much everything, but a lot of these guys, I think that just criticizing Canelo, to me, they just look at it in one aspect. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said the other day, Canelo, there's some things you could criticize him, but in this situation, I don't know how people are defending Caleb Plant. Like these are said, this guy's turned down the fight before. This guy's never made $1 million or whatever. So, like this whole thing, like the picture, Andy Ruiz is the guy that took full, full opportunity. The opportunity he was offered, he took full advantage of it against Joshua a couple of years ago, and he knocked him out. And if you remember then, Adam Kunaki turned down the fight, Luis Ortiz. Now, I'm not saying all of these guys should have taken the fight because some of these guys probably weren't ready. But if you're being offered a career-high PD and Canelo just wants something up front, like, because if Caleb Plant got injured and the fact that was a possibility or he pulled out with COVID, Canelo wants some sort of assurances. And the fact that I don't get it, like he was willing to go to Showtime, or was it Fox, and fight on pay-per-view against him, and still Caleb Plant or his team have pulled him out. Like that just shows this guy doesn't want to take big fights, and he's demanding more than he's really worth because they were paying him a lot of money. If I was him, I would have just taken the fight and then try and dictate the terms in the rematch. But it just looks like a lot of these guys on the PBC side, I think they're being told to do a certain thing because we haven't really seen many undisputed fights on that side. And hopefully we get Porter and Crawford, but I'm not sure we'll get to see Spence and Crawford if Crawford wins that fight. And this may be a bad thing because if Plant loses, he then has to blame his team for this fight not happening. I know a lot of people are blaming Canelo, but Canelo is the guy with the leverage. He is the biggest name in boxing. So you can't just blame Canelo. Like that to me just sounds ridiculous. I know he's putting some demands, but
look, I'll be honest with you. Like I actually was subbed to like different channels or whatever. I'm not gonna drop any names, but their analysis on this whole situation got me to desub and question them as boxing analysts. Like, how the fuck do you blame Canelo for any of this? How the fuck do you jump to conclusions off of a report where when you read it, it's obvious that there's only one source, and the source is Caleb Plant. I'm not blaming Caleb Plant for expressing his views, but I'm blaming a reporter that didn't seek out the alternative view. And I'm blaming these quote unquote analysts who are going to run on the YouTube and film videos from their cars and from different locations, you know, and talk about Canelo, you know, being the culprit for all of this. Nah, bro. Nah, like seriously, you got to really understand something.
Yeah. The thing is, Canelo always.
Yeah, go ahead.
Canelo always managed to make the big fights, and the key word is concession. This guy is not willing to make the fight. Eddie Hearn was. I'll bring up the other fight. Eddie Hearn was saying that they were willing to go to Showtime and not Showtime. Sorry, I keep saying Fox. Sorry, to the PBC and make the fight on pay-per-view. Same with Jamal. I think it's Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade. Now I know Andrade has done a lot of things with not exactly the right business move, but that fight not happening right now is all down to the PBC and Charlo. And I'm not sure what's going to happen because Charlo said he doesn't want to fight Benavidez. Plant doesn't want to fight Benavidez. Does Charlo and Plant fight? If they do, I don't think that's really a big fight. And I don't think he's going to be making even half as much he was being offered. So the fact that people are blaming Canelo, to me, it just shows they have agenda. I get it, like some people are biased towards Canelo, but right now people are being very biased against Canelo. Like you can't just put all the blame on him like these cells we've seen.
Look, let me just read this really quick. This is from ESPN, Coppinger's quoting plan here, okay? His bark is bigger than his bite. Okay, Poodle. Okay, damn Poodle talking about the pit bull and not having any damn bite, okay? Now, Canelo, which tells you, by the way, his agenda, like everyone has an agenda. Plant had an agenda when he was getting interviewed here, okay? He started with his bark is bigger than his bite. Quote, Canelo was offered the highest guarantee of his career. He was set to make $40 million plus Mexican TV rights and his Hennessy sponsorship. No problem. Let's fight. Okay, all right. We gave it to him. What do you mean you gave it to him? Then they wanted the upside of the gate and pay-per-view revenue. Oh my God! Like, is this news to anybody? Like, is anybody to read this and say, "Oh my God, Canelo's going to get the upside of the gate and the pay-per-view"? Who do you think the gate's going to show up for, dude? I don't think this dude's ever had a $1 million gate. If he had, he would have been paid more. Who are you to talk about the gate and the pay-per-view revenue? You don't know anything about that. You never been on pay-per-view. Bro, you didn't even get 1 million people to watch you on free TV.
Yeah.
You got horrible ratings on free TV. Laura got higher ratings than you, dude. Like, what are you talking about? No problem, let's rumble. And then he pulls this bullshit. It was always agreed that it was a title unification. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. Oh, no shit. No rematch for either fighter. That was always agreed to, he said. I call bullshit on that, okay? Towards the end of the negotiations, they asked for a rematch when they lose. Again, look at the way he worded it. When they lose. They want a rematch when they lose. Now, if he happens to lose, would be the correct way to say it. Right? This is Caleb Plant pumping himself up with an agenda. That's what this is. No problem. You can have the rematch as well. I just want to fight. So if it's no problem, why are you bringing it up? Why is it frustrating you that it was brought up to begin with? You expect me to believe a fighter the caliber Canelo is not going to have a rematch clause? Are you fucking shitting me right now?
To me, is a spin. Like they're trying to put the spin. Some of these things said are good. We have not everything is out there, not the facts. I think it's right, Doctor. But at the same time, if people are running with just one narrative, the one the media is being fed, that to me shows people have an agenda. Like I remember the whole Wilder Joshua thing. Wilder was the one who turned down. I think there's a couple of offers that Eddie Hearn pulled out. Like I'm not going to go back and forth because there's a couple of times both those guys deserve blame. But when Wilder turned down the fight, and I think then Povetkin, the mandatory, was called. I remember there's a lot of channels and a lot of people are just blatantly calling out Joshua. Now I'm not saying this is the same situation, but I was trying to see a lot of these people have an agenda and they're just pushing it. We don't know the Canelo side of the story, the whole ins and outs. And Caleb Plant, the way he's coming across is he's trying to make this out like he was willing to give stuff up. We all know Canelo is the guy who's bringing the more leverage to the table.
Right. So just to finish reading this here, and I know we've all gone over it, but I just want to read it again. I question whether legacy or money is a real motive. Are you shitting me? Again, agenda written all over it, because who's this dude to talk about legacy and money, okay? We've been waiting for him to get done with his wedding, shoot his TV show, his golf tournament, and now I've tried to give him everything he wants and more, he said. Okay, what's the more? What's the more? The Hennessy deal? The Mexican deal? What's the more that Plant gave him? Like, he just says it, but he doesn't elaborate on what you let him get married? Is that the more? You let him have a golf tournament? Okay, you let him be on a TV show? Is that the more that you gave him? And then he says, I'm more than willing and ready to fight Canelo on any date. Look, I think Caleb Plant told on himself here, guys. He said, I'm willing to fight him on any date. Well, what does that tell you? I didn't even catch this the first time.
Yeah, I know.
What does that tell you?
Yeah,
how serious are they about making it in mid-September? You know that's the date Canelo wants. Why are you talking about any date?
How somebody could read this article and go on and blast Canelo. I just don't get it. It's so obviously one-sided. It's so obvious that they only interviewed one guy. They could have interviewed this guy while he was changing his kids' diapers, while he was finished taking out the trash, while he finished an intense workout session. Who knows what the context was? But it's a guy who obviously is upset that the negotiations aren't going the way he wanted them to go. That's fair. Speak your truth. Speak your mind. Tell the world how you feel. But ESPN, are you fucking kidding me?
Well, here's the other thing. To continue, those are the real facts. And if anyone has anything to say differently, we have the paperwork to prove it. Bro, I don't need paperwork to know that Canelo got married. I don't know he needed your permission. I don't know that the golf tournament is something we need paperwork for. Okay, I don't know that him getting his Hennessy deal, being part of the deal, okay, I don't need paperwork for that. I don't need to see paperwork to know that Canelo's going to get the lion's share. I don't need paperwork to know that Canelo, okay, says he wants a rematch clause. I don't need paperwork for any of that. We already know that. We kind of all presuppose that going in. Okay, but let's talk about this one. One thing that is absurd, if I get injured or sick, then he gets a late replacement for the same amount of guaranteed money. But if he gets sick or injured, then we got to wait for him. We're at 7.5 weeks from the fight. We lost valuable time that should be spent promoting and drug testing for a fight of this magnitude. I thought you just said you'll fight him on any date.
100%.
You're contradicting yourself.
Hamed, I gotta let you go. We got a call that was on hold actually before you chimed in that I forgot to take. So I gotta take the call. But if you want to wait around, I can bring you back later. But I gotta take the call. Thank you. All right, appreciate that, Hamed. So let's go to the caller 513. Sorry, bro, I forgot about you on hold.
Oh yeah. I see you. You did forget about me.
I apologize, bro. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem. It was okay. Wait, I like D-Style. D-Style is a cool dude. So I like to listen to him rant about how Caleb Plant is being biased, which I mean I would expect that from his side of the story, right? I mean you don't want him out here like Charlo kissing Canelo's butt every 5 minutes he can. I mean he's a competitor. I want to see him go at Canelo. I don't want to see him in there being nice to him. You want
but is him saying like, oh, we let him have the Hennessy deal? Is that talking trash, or is that just a stupid statement?
No. I think you misinterpreting his interview. His interview is out of frustration. I gave him everything, and he still won't fight me. That's the way I interpreted the interview when I read it.
Well, he didn't give him shit though. He didn't give him anything. He's got nothing to give.
You say he didn't what?
Well, this is the argument I was having on the Boxing Voice what D-Style just said. Emily, I'm coming from the perspective of Caleb Plant is we can call him a B-side, but a guy who's really not bringing anything to the table other than the IBF. But he acting like he the big dog in the yard. He acting like he got everything to give Canelo, even the stuff that Canelo's already brought to the table himself.
Before you go, brother, let me just say this. What do you make of him saying that? Oh, he waited for Canelo to get married. Is that like good trash talk? Like, what is that?
No. What he's doing, he's showing how each step of the way there was more and more added, and he kept giving in more and more and more. Then finally, that last part, which I can't believe that you are agreeing with. No, he should not get no $40 million guarantee to fight any old body. He should get a guaranteed fight. I agree with that. If Canelo wants $25 million for a replacement, okay, no problem. But the Caleb Plant, the Caleb Plant fight is at $50 million total for both guys, not just any old Joe Blow off the street. Now, can we agree on that?
No, I mean, I definitely understand what you're saying, but keep in mind, I agree. He was talking out of frustration. He was venting to Coppinger, and Coppinger decided to make this a story. And now people are nonstop talking about this, right? I get that.
Yeah, because
but do you know for a fact that Canelo was requesting the same amount of money regardless of who he fights?
I mean, I would think they would come out and go against this.
Well, the reporter didn't. He should have done his job. Coppinger should have done his job and reached out to Canelo's side and asked if that's true.
Okay, and Chava's, I waited for Chava's story to come out, which came out about 4 hours ago because he usually has the inside scoop on Canelo. They didn't deny it. There's absolutely nothing coming from Canelo's side, and which makes me, the man is so ridiculous. I didn't believe it at first, but now I'm starting to believe it because he said if they want to deny it, come out and say it. I got the receipts, and it's been radio silence from Canelo's side since he said that.
Well, because Canelo doesn't need to respond to everything Caleb Plant is saying, just like he doesn't need to respond to Caleb acting like he gave him the Hennessy deal, which he did not. You know what I mean?
If we can work on it, if we can work on that, if we could use Caleb Plant information to dog him out, we could also have to take that same information at face value to
Now he did say Coppinger has said that Canelo could make upwards of 40 million. He didn't say 40 million outright. Upwards of. Well, what does that tell you?
I mean, how important is
that he could potentially make 40 million, right?
And see, and this is another thing that just came out. Now they're saying, well, we don't have to go on that date. So why is it important for him to get 40 million as a replacement, but now it's not important for him to fight at that date at all?
Again, you're going by something Caleb Plant said in a rant, okay? And he's upset because Canelo could get somebody and he won't. He'll have to wait for Canelo. That's his main gripe. And I get it because he wants to fight, right? He wants to payday.
He also misinterpreted that part of his interview when he said, I can fight on any date. That's what he was referring to.
All right, here's what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do.
Well, he's the one complaining that they're running out of time, though.
Let me get just one last part out because I know you're about to end.
No, bro, not even. I'm gonna give you a whole minute to talk. It's just that Hamed is asking me to chime in on this, so I figured I'd give Hamed a minute, then I'd give you a minute, and you guys could go back and forth. Is that cool with you?
Yeah, that's cool with me.
All right, let's do that.
I ain't doing nothing. I'm cooking.
All right, let's do that. So I'm going to bring Hamed now. Hamed, I'm going to put the timer up on the screen, all right, because I'm going to stick to this hard time limit because I did say that I wanted to and send people over to Coach. Huh?
How long do I have? How long do I have?
You got a whole minute. I put it up on the screen. You ready to go?
All right. Starting now.
Here we go. You got a minute. One second. Let me reset this. Let's start it with the bell.
All right. The guy is missing is Canelo made a concession. He's willing to fight on Fox pay-per-view. So he's going away from his whatever guarantee. Now, if people are saying he's guaranteed more, you're missing out. He was also depending on the flip side of the pay-per-view. So we don't know how much is the pay-per-view going to do. Now, Caleb Plant said if he gets injured, Canelo gets injured, he wants the same guarantee. This is the same guy who's never made $1 million. He's made $750,000. We know Canelo is going to get paid more if he fights on the zone against Bivol. Then obviously if Caleb Plant fights on Fox against Benavidez or whatever. So the fact that he's bringing stuff like that up to me just shows the PBC were trying to tie Canelo down to a 2-fight deal, a 3-fight deal. And if Caleb Plant pulled out, Canelo would have been facing a lot of different scenarios. He would have been probably in a scenario where he's fighting someone else like Anthony Durrell on Fox, maybe pay-per-view. And then he would have had to have scheduled the fight with Plant at a later date. The fact that Plant is bringing this up shows that he didn't want the fight.
That's your 1 minute. Caller, I'm going to reset. I'm going to reset the timer, wait for the bell, and then end of the Cypher. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, first of all, Ahmed said several things that's wrong. Caleb Plant never said that he wanted the same guarantee as Canelo. He has never said that. And when he said, I'm willing to fight Canelo on any date, he was referring to even if the fight gets pushed back, it doesn't matter to me. I'll fight Canelo on the 18th, or if he gets injured, I'll fight him on any other date. That was what he was referring to when he said he'd fight him on any other date. Secondly, the date can't be that. I don't understand why he's asking for a $40 million guarantee, because he's so worried about that date, but the date can't be that important if he's now talking about he's not going to fight. He may not fight on that date at all. And thirdly, with this guarantee, which is crazy to me, is he's asking Fox for something he wouldn't even get from DAZN. They wouldn't even guarantee him his original contract to fight Billy Joe, the guy he just fought. He had to fight Billy Joe, Caleb Smith, and yield him for less money than his supposed guarantee was at DAZN. So I don't understand why he's asking for something that he knows to be a non-starter. He knows that's a non-starter. You're not going to get the same amount of money for Joe Blow as you will for Caleb Plant.
Yeah, so just do a fight on DAZN. Plant will get his money on DAZN, and he won't make. If you want him to leave DAZN, where he would make 35 million, you have to pay him more, or else why would he leave DAZN?
Hamed, you want another minute? Hold up, Carl.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Hold up, Carl.
Yeah.
You're going to get another minute, but Hamed, you want another minute?
Yeah.
All right, so
right, you want to start?
I'm going to give you a minute right now. Go for it.
All right. I never said Caleb Plant wanted the same money, but we know who the A side is. Now, if Canelo is trying to fight Caleb Plant and Caleb Plant pulls out, Canelo wants a guarantee that he's going to get the same amount of money to fight, I don't know, Benavidez, Charlo, whatever, because Canelo is already going away from where he's fighting on, and he already said he doesn't want to he wants to be a free agent, he doesn't want to sign multi-fight deals. The fact that this guy is trying to say all this is, to me, shows he's only looking at it one side, because Caleb Plant is the guy that should be taking the fight. He is the guy with the least amount bringing to the table. Canelo is making concessions already, going to Fox pay-per-view to fight the guy. To me, this was looking like Al Heyman was trying to tie down Canelo, because they already looking at Fox may not renew that deal. And to me, that shows that Caleb Plant deep down didn't want the fight. He was being offered a career high payday. Canelo has already made a lot of millions, whether or not he was getting paid a career high himself. The guy was already on a very good deal at DAZN, and he's going away to concede that to try and make the fight.
Caller, you got 1 minute. This is the last minute. We'll do this as the last round. All right, you ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, because Ahmed is coming up with a lot of conspiracy theories and what if and whatever. Because number one, if the fight could have been on DAZN, people don't realize Canelo chose the fight to be on Fox, not Caleb Plant. They said whoever comes with the better offer, we'll go with them. So it's obvious Fox came with the better offer. This isn't even a situation of should it be on DAZN or should it be on Fox. Canelo chose Fox to negotiate with because they came with a better offer. I don't know how that's getting mixed up, and people aren't realizing that. So another thing I don't understand, why I agree Canelo should get a guarantee if Caleb Plant pulls out. I wish Wilder would have had something like that in his contract. But you're not going to get, every fight isn't valued the same. We all agree with that. So you're not going to get the same amount of money for Billy Joe for Caleb as you will with some Joe Blow off the street. The same way DAZN didn't give him the same amount of money for Billy Joe Sanders and Callum Smith as they did for Danny Jacobs, Sergey Kovalev, and they wanted him to fight everybody else. This is.
All right, so we're gonna end on that one. Caller, what's your name again, fam? I forgot.
My name on here in the chat is 4Ben Media. That's my channel.
All right, so 4Ben and Hamed, thank you very much. Hopefully we you guys got in what you wanted to say in that amount of time. Chad, let us know who you agree with. All right, Hamed, I'm going to let you go because I got to get going. All right, I'm going to wrap up here with D-Style. D-Style, thank you so much for having me on, or for coming on here. I'm so used to saying having me on because I'm on your channel. But thank you.
Hey, man, I'm glad to be here. You know, shout out to everybody in the chat. Everyone watching right now, go to the bell button, hit that bell button, hit the all. That way you're notified every single time Maestro A comes on live. You know what I mean? And if you guys want to subscribe to my channel, D-Style Boxing is the channel. I have a show every Tuesday, my podcast that is every Tuesday. the ATP podcast. I just got where I'm going to have Roberto Diaz from Golden Boy Promotions. I'm working on some other guests. So you guys can tune into that if you want. One last thing I wanted to add about this, okay? I keep hearing this like, oh, well, Fox beat out, they beat out the zone. They outbid the zone. They offer more money. Yeah, but no agreement was made. The agreement wasn't made. It wasn't locked in. So then what do? We got to go to another option, right? So the zone is still an option. Plant has not shown any willingness to fight on the zone. And I will just leave it at that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, D-Sal. Make sure you check out all of the HPC content. Subscribe here to Maestro A Boxing. Subscribe to G Funky Boxing. Subscribe to D-Style Boxing. I'd also like you to subscribe to my brother Joe Habib, Ringside Reporter Live. And if you are not already subscribed to the Boxing Voice, make sure you subscribe to my brother Nestor Gibbs's channel as well. That is it for me. D-Style, thank you so much. Chat, thank you so much. I'm going to throw up the outro for all of you real quick, and then that will be it for